Testing? Wow, okay. That does work, huh? Can you hear me now? Kirsten, can you hear me? Good evening and welcome to Tuesday, November 12, 2024, Victor Valley Community College District regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Roll call.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Woods?
He's late. Late.
He'll be here in 5.5 minutes.
Late.
Trustee Tarpley?
Here.
Trustee DeVeritis?
Here.
Student Trustee Reyes?
Present.
Superintendent President Dr. Walden?
Here.
I do need to read a couple things for the dais, and I'm glad to see that some of this has actually now been turned around. Members of the public may participate in the meeting. If you wish to make a public comment, please complete a public comment card found at our website, or fill in the version and email it to Stephanie, or fill one out at the meeting before the meeting begins. You'll have the opportunity to speak at the appropriate time during the meeting. Comment cards must be submitted before the start of the board meeting in order to be recognized during the meeting. It is the intention of Victor Valley Community College District to comply with Americans with Disability Acts in all respects. If you require special accommodations or assistance to attend or participate in the meeting, or require the agenda be made available in the appropriate alternative format, please direct requests at least 48 hours prior to the meeting to Vice President of Human Resources Monica Martinez, Victor Valley College, 18422 Bear Valley Road, Victorville 92395-5849, or call 760-245-4271, extension 2455. This meeting will be electronically recorded and a webcast available for anybody who wants to see it. Lee Bennett, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sure. You're the tallest guy in the room anyway.
Where's the flag?
Perhaps. We have a flag right here. We need to have a flag up here.
Yeah.
Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our good longtime friend, Pastor Rick, would you come on up and lead us in the invitation? Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, thank you. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, tonight we thank you for the emphasis that you have on education in your word, and we thank you for the Victor Valley Community College, who is educating our community for career choices. Tonight we come to you as a board of directors and those who are participating, who have given very important responsibility of leading this institution of higher learning. Please give wisdom and direction in each member as they seek your will regarding the agenda items that are laid before us. You tell us the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Please give your blessing upon the meeting, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Pastor. 1.4, public comment and announcement. The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted at the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. Individuals may comment after being recognized by the board president before board discussion of a particular item under board policy 2350. Public comments related to non-agendized items. At this time, the board trustees will listen to communication from the public on non-agendized items pertaining to college business. Each speaker is limited to one presentation per meeting on non-agendized matters. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual and a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called on to approach the microphone at the appropriate time to speak. Only those who have been recognized by the board president will be permitted to speak. State law prohibits the board from addressing any issues not included on the agenda under board policy 2350.
You missed 1.5.
Which one?
1.5.
Oh, announcement of items to be deleted. Do we have any items to be deleted
Yes,
or
we
corrected?
do.
Sorry.
Correction to 8.38. Excuse me. In the consent agenda, the budget, even though it's in the attachment of the contract, it's not on the page. So it's not on the announcement page. So there should have been the $18,000 was the amount, and the budget source is the president's office. And then also under discussion items, which is section 16, 16.6 is missing, and there was to be a discussion on elected officials presenting at the board meetings. 16.6. It's just a discussion item only, no action. That was it. Thank you.
So our next presentation is, this gentleman got 2 shots this year. Nathan Freeman, we welcome you back from the city of Hesperia. You've had some huge announcements recently published. I know they should have really come out of the city, but we'll address that later. You got some really exciting things going on, and you just had the State of the City. Congratulations, welcome back.
Thank
so
you.
For those that don't know, Nathan is second in charge of the city, oversees community development, engineering, planning, and is kind of the face and the person everybody in the development business deals with. So welcome.
Thank you. What an honor to be back twice in 1 year. Our mayor, Larry Bird, was supposed to be here tonight. He had a conflict, and he asked me to step in. I do appreciate the invitation. I was chatting with a couple of my staff on the way over here, and they said, "Don't you get nervous about doing these?" I said, "Absolutely not. These are what gets me going. This is one of my favorite things to do. Come and talk about what's going on in the city of Hesperia." So first, thank you, Honorable Chair Brady, distinguished trustee members. Again, Nathan Freeman, I'm the Director of Development Services. I just hit my 1.5 years with the city of Hesperia. I oversee planning, building and safety, community development, and up till recently, engineering as well. So we have a lot going on in our community, a lot to talk about tonight, which we'll get into. There are a few schools of thought as it relates to, how does a city judge how it's doing economically, either favorably or unfavorably? And I happen to subscribe to the idea that a third party could look at a community and judge how they're doing, again, economically based on a few criteria, specifically how many permits they're issuing, what are the valuation of those building permits, how many permits you're issuing for new homes, how many building inspections are you doing, and a few other criteria that we're going to jump into. So really quick, I'm a statistics data nerd. I think that statistics tell a very compelling story, and especially for the folks that I talk to every single day, potential investors in our community. So I want to hit you guys with statistics, and then we'll get into some of the fun stuff. As you can see on the screen, some historical data for how many permits the city of Hesperia has issued. So as you can see, we have been increasing every single year. 2022, 23, which is our fiscal year, was a banner year for us. Last year was down a little bit, but this year is really shaping up to be an incredible year. As you can see, in fiscal year 24, 25, in which we're not even halfway through, we've issued close to 3,000 building permits. We are on track to eclipse over 6,000 permits. So again, you can see the historical context. Never in the history of the city of Hesperia, which is a young community going back to 1988, have we ever issued more than 6,000 permits in a single year. One thing that is really telling is what are the valuations associated with those permits. And you can see some historical context there. We have been increasing steadily every single year for the past 10 years. And what I like to point out for our current fiscal year, again, we're 5 months in, we're not even halfway through. Our permit evaluation is a little over $200 million. So we fully expect this to be the best year permit-wise, valuation-wise, that Hesperia has ever had. We fully expect to eclipse $400 million in permit evaluation. You say, well, why is that important? That permit valuation means jobs. That means investment in our community. That $400 million is being directly impactful to our community. Again, through jobs, future sales tax revenue, all things that I know that are important to the college that are also important to us. So we talked a little bit about, last time I was here, how do you attract new retail to a community? Well, I'm an old economic development professional. The adage is, retail chases rooftops. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Silverwood project in a minute, but you can see here, just this current fiscal year, again, 5 months in, we've issued over 40 permits for infill single-family development. Again, that's like a single home that a third-party home builder will build. but we've also issued well over 80 permits for tract development. So if you look at the difference between last year and this year, that's a 134% increase. And as Silverwood comes online, which will be early next year, this is just going to go absolutely crazy. So next time I come, this chart's going to look completely different. So how many building inspections are we doing? You can see some historical context there. Just for the fiscal year, the current one, we're almost at 8,000 inspections just 5 months in. So we're on track for a banner inspection year. And then how many business licenses have we issued? This is a really telling sign of how a community is doing and how folks feel about opening a business in your respective community. As you can see, the current fiscal year, we're already at almost 3,000 business licenses in the city of Hesperia. So all very positive economic news for us. So now to the fun stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about Silverwood. So if you haven't been over there yet, they are moving at light speed. And I'll show you some pictures that we just took with drone footage maybe a week and a half ago. So the big news coming out of Silverwood is that their model homes are going to be open first quarter of next year. You can see the Welcome Center there that's under construction. Nice drone footage of that. But the big announcement is the home builders that are actually coming to the city of Hesperia to build houses for our future residents. They are very notable names. You've probably heard them before: Lennar, Watt Capital, Woodside Homes, and Richmond America. These are not small players by any means. These guys are building homes all over Southern California, and we feel very fortunate that they have decided to invest in our city. So for the board's edification and the general public, when this project is over, they're looking to add another 15,000 plus homes to the city of Hesperia. For context, that is one of the largest master plan communities, not just in Southern California, but into the entire state of California. And so this is an amazing opportunity, not just for Hesperia, but for Apple Valley and Victorville, and specifically for the community college here. So the big announcement that the chair referenced, late last week, we announced that Sam's Club is coming to Hesperia. We're all very excited about that. I don't know if anybody's been to the Costco in Victorville. It's a little crowded over there. So they need some competition. And so we're bringing it to Hesperia. So they are currently going through the entitlement phase right now. A lot of folks have called and asked me, this is great news. We're so excited that Sam's is coming to Hesperia. When's it going to be open? That's the million-dollar question. And I said, well, if I had a crystal ball, I would say probably early 2026, if I had to guess. And it seems like a long time, but in the world of development, that's actually pretty short. So my commitment to the city of Hesperia and the Victor Valley as a whole, as the one who oversees all of the entitling and permitting agencies, we are going to move heaven and earth to make sure that this gets open as quickly as possible. And it was actually one of our incentives to Sam's Club and to other like-minded businesses who want to come to Hesperia. They're going to get that same incentive. So we are very excited to welcome Sam's Club, and as I'm sure the board can understand, all of the immediately adjacent property owners are already starting to leverage that Sam's Club is coming so that they can develop their property and get great tenants who want to be as close to Sam's Club as humanly possible. So it's been pretty amazing, the response so far. If you follow the city's social media page, I think we're up north of 1,200 likes already, like hundreds of comments, and we usually get beat up on social media for things like streets, and it is what it is, but it's nice to get some really positive feedback from our community, and they have really responded to this. And if you recall, the last time I was here, we talked about a retail survey that we did, and remember I told you that Trader Joe's was like the #1 response, and even though we told them not to ask for Trader Joe's, they still did. Well, Sam's Club and Costco were like the runners up, so we feel very fortunate that we can deliver on what our community is asking for. So continuing on the theme of new investment in our community, there is a company called KISS Logistics that our city council just approved. This is going to be an almost 700,000 square foot industrial building that is going to be employing close to 700 people, full-time jobs, with 1,000 construction-related jobs associated with it. And you say, okay, wonderful. remember what I told you last time I came, the largest percentage of Hesperians that commute outside of our city are going to industrial jobs down the hill. So we talked a little bit about Maersk, and we'll touch on it again tonight. But just imagine, if you will, for Maersk, 600 less people on the freeway. And with KISS Logistics coming online, another 600 or 700 people off the freeway. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it starts I don't want to call it a cycle, but a process. So we are building an economy in Hesperia based on our current workforce. Okay, so remember we talked about hospitals too. You know, we have a large contingency of folks in Hesperia that work down the hill for hospitals. So we're leveraging that to try to attract a hospital or something like it here in Hesperia. So you get a nice shot. And the nice thing about KISS Logistics is they're not just a warehouse. They actually make something on site. They manufacture women's beauty products. If you've ever got hair extensions, which I never have, but you probably or possibly bought it from them. And so most of these jobs that are associated with this, because they're manufacturing, are in the $30 to $40 range an hour. These are not like your entry-level Amazon jobs. These are higher skilled and higher wage jobs. So we're very excited about that. So we talked a little bit about Maersk. Last time I was here, they weren't open yet. They're open now. They've already employed close to 600 people. And having spoken with their management several times, the overwhelming majority of their staff live here in the high desert. And we made that very clear to them up front. We have people in my hometown of Redlands that are commuting to that facility in Redlands. Please give them some level of preference or priority. And they said, absolutely. They've had hiring fairs that we've encouraged. And I'm happy to report back to you, they're a good partner in our city, and everything they said they were going to do, they did. So one of the ways you show that you're a good neighbor is that you hire people from the high desert. And they took that very seriously, and they absolutely did that. And one of the ancillary economic benefits of having, let's just say, Nathan working in Hesperia, living in Hesperia, now I'm shopping in Hesperia. So through a little bit of data analysis, the Pilot Truck Center has been the recipient, not surprisingly, of all this new economic activity. So if I'm working at Maersk, guess where I'm getting gas? Right down the street. Guess where I'm getting something to eat? One of our local, shops over there. And so it has the added ancillary economic benefit to the city. Remember, roads is our biggest issue. Well, how do you pay for roads? Through sales tax. So we are helping our local businesses by bringing these jobs here, and these companies. So a little bit of retail. So right on the corner of Main and I, forever was the Country Kitchen, and I think before that was, I want to say Caro's?
Yes.
Yes,
And before that, Bob's Big Boy.
Bob's Big Boy.
Oh.
So,
That dates some of us.
yeah, and sadly, this
Making a
building
comeback.
had been vacant for a couple of years. And one of the things that people on the east side of Hesperia reported directly to me was there's no place to eat over there, and we're forced to go over to Apple Valley, Jess Ranch, because they've got restaurants. Can you bring some more sit-down restaurants to this area? And we took that charge very seriously, and I think with Silverwood coming online, it's going to be even easier. But that will soon be our new IHOP, so we're going to have 2 IHOPs. I was like, that's awesome. I love their pancakes. Let's get it done. So for your edification, this is going to be open hopefully before the end of the year. They were really making a push to be open before Thanksgiving. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I guarantee if you go in there, if you'd ever been to Caro's, it's going to look completely different. They have literally gutted the building. They've taken it down to the studs. It is going to be a completely different eating experience in there. So we're excited to welcome IHOP specifically to that area of the city. And then China Palace, my daughter cried.
All the
A lot of
kids,
places, a lot of people really like this.
but- Yeah, I don't know.
And so China Palace is sadly going away. Taking its place is going to be Hesperia's first Dutch Brothers. So this was one of the things that our community asked for, and we feel really good that we can give them what they're asking for. I personally don't like Dutch Brothers. One time waited 3 hours in line with my wife, and I was like, this is crazy. It felt like Krispy Kreme all over again.
No rebel for me.
But we are excited to welcome them.
Sugar.
Before the end of the year, you're going to see the old China Palace get torn down, and then we're going to start this new awesome project. One thing that Dutch Brothers brings to a city like Hesperia is insane traffic. And it has really put the onus on people like me to make sure that we don't create traffic nightmares. So if you've ever been to the one in Eastvale or the one in Yucaipa, they didn't plan very well. And there's a reason you have to wait 3 hours to get your coffee because they just, yeah, it's a traffic nightmare. So we are working with them on a site plan. So in planning terms, you have this thing called stacking. That means how many cars do you have in the queue? Most quick serve restaurants or these, you have an 8-car stack. For these, we have to plan for a 15 to 20-car stack. That's just how popular they are. So we are excited to welcome them. I fully anticipate before the middle of next year, Dutch Brothers is going to be open in Hesperia. Continuing on the food theme, off of Ranchero and Fashion Court, we have a McDonald's that is well under construction. It will be finished by November 30th, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. So right next to it is going to be Popeyes. And I just had one of their chicken sandwiches, these steamed chicken sandwiches, for the first time. And I was like, it's okay, not worth the long wait. But the nice, I call it a little fun fact. I love fun facts. Fun fact for you guys, this architecture style is their first architectural style in this kind of style, if you call. So we are excited to welcome them. They have a cult-like following, and a lot of people are excited to welcome them to Hesperia. They're going to be going immediately adjacent to McDonald's. And again, fun fact, this is their new architectural style, and we're getting it first in Hesperia. So there's a nice night shot. And then we talked about Rosa Maria's and Dairy Queen, and I wanted to come back and do a report card for them, for you guys, on how they're doing. And the results have been nothing less than, I would call it, insane. So we have a data company that tracks everything about most of our restaurants. So if we want to know what kind of sales they're doing, how many customers they've had, all that information is right at our fingertips. And so for you guys, I wanted to articulate what impact they have had in the city of Hesperia and Victorville and Apple Valley. As you can see, Rosa Maria's up there, from March to August, had 60,000 customers come to the door, and their drive-thru isn't even open. Just for some context, that was more than their long-established Fontana chain during the same time period. And then for Dairy Queen, you can see between January, when they opened, and July, they had 230,000 customers walk through their door. Again, context for that time period, that was the most frequented Dairy Queen, not just in Southern California, but in the entire state.
That's insane.
Pretty wild. And if you've been over there and sat in line, you probably understand what I'm saying. So one of the things that the commitment that I've made to the City Council and to our development community is customer service and expediting of permitting and entitlement. And part of that is having to take a look at all of your processes, how you do business, how do we as staff make it easy to do business in Hesperia, to invest in our community. And a couple of things that are kind of first priorities for me was to update our general plan. If you're familiar with the general plan, it basically outlines the type of development that's allowed in certain areas. The general plan was originally adopted in 1988 when the city became a city, and the last time it was adopted, I think, was over 20 years ago. So definitely, we're in a position to help encourage new investment by taking a look at our general plan and saying, where does it need to be, where do we need to make some changes, again, to facilitate instead of prohibit development in our community. So our city council next Tuesday is going to be considering a draft of that general plan update. And then we hope that our planning commission will review it in January, February next year. And then our city council will adopt, again, the first time in, I believe it's 20 years, a update to our general plan. And again, with the theme being, how do we make it easier to invest in our community? On top of that, we're also implementing things like what we call a pre-application process. So if you're a developer, when you come in and submit an application for entitlement, we are now offering you the opportunity to have a pre-meeting with staff to go over your site plan for free. Other communities, like the one I previously worked with, charged up to $3,000 for the service. We're offering it for free. And so if Mr. Brady brings a hotel developer to me and he wants to go into the entitlement process, eyes wide open, exactly what staff is going to be looking for, we have a pre-meeting at no cost to the developer where engineering, planning, building and safety, economic development, everybody gives their feedback up front. So when they actually come in and submit for entitlement, they're in a really good place. The goal being to shorten that process so that the quicker the hotel is open, the quicker they're making money, the quicker the city is making money. So that is my very quick update. I'm happy to answer any question that the board has. Thank you for the opportunity again, and anytime you guys want me to come back, I'm happy to do it.
Student trustee. Trustee DeMarcus?
Regarding the business licenses and the growth of that, what do the businesses look like? Are there a lot of very small businesses or bigger businesses?
So generally speaking, and this goes for every community, the backbone of business license is always small businesses. So statistics, again, across the board in every community across the entire country, your new business or your new employment growth is always from small businesses, mom and pops. So I would say Hesperia is no exception to that. So we run the gamut. So we have a lot of people who have home-based businesses. Those are included in there. People who've decided that they're doing so well in Hesperia, they've decided to renew their business license as well. So it runs the full gamut.
So I, of course, have some questions for my fellow Redlander. We talked about it last time. Kukas. Did you call Mama Kuka? Do you need me to do that?
Uh-oh.
I think I might take you up on that offer.
Okay.
My household is a very firm believer in
Don't you say it.
Rosa Maria, so there's a little
Okay,
bit of
it's
a
called what?
rivalry.
Kukas in Redlands, California.
Do they have more than one?
Yes.
They have several. So
But you want to go to the original because they have never
So do you not
washed
think
the
I'm not
bean
going to
pot.
jump all over this tomorrow?
Mr.
That's
Brady,
what I do for a living.
come on over
I'm
to
going to give you her
Redlands, I'll
number.
treat you.
You're,
So
we'll go to a concert.
Okay.
we welcome any business from down the hill that wants to come.
Especially Kukas. Thank you, Nathan.
So there are, the nice thing about Rosa Maria's, they have brand name recognition. Would
They call it a
respectfully
garbage
disagree.
burrito for a reason. Just kidding, I love
That was like a
Rosemary's.
dagger to the heart. My favorite burrito.
I'll bail you in a second.
Thank
but-
you.
Okay, I have another question though, and it's all seriousness. So I know you talked about the businesses that came up and saved like 600 people off the freeway, and it's a trickle effect, and I love that. And this is by no means meant to be derogatory at all, but you talked about that Silverwood project. And how many homes? You said 15,000?
North of 15,000.
15,663.
15 comma
15663.
digits, and so that's a lot of drivers
It is.
in Hesperia. So do you have a plan for that?
So just to be clear, 15,000 homes are not going to be built over the next year or 2 years. This is a 15 to 20 year
Oh, okay, okay.
construction, and I apologize, I should have clarified that. So I think the city recognizes that we have to do a major infrastructure lift as part of this. And we have been working hand in hand with our partner, D&B Developments. They've been amazing in that regard. They have paid millions and millions of dollars in developer impact fees to the city, which we are using directly. So for the Ranchero Road expansion, that was all paid from developer impact fees that we, well, partially, a good portion of them that we received from D&B as part of the Silverwood development. So we understand that infrastructure is a major concern. We look to partner with our development community wherever and whenever we can to help to make sure that those impacts are mitigated to the best of our ability.
And also, I drive in Hesperia every day now because my son goes to school in Hesperia. And you personally did a
Yes.
lot of work on the Main Street exit on-ramp area. It's looking good, just compliments.
I wish I could take credit. That's all Caltrans.
Oh, okay,
All
well,
killed.
it looks good.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Wish they'd fix the Bear Valley Road off ramp, but
Well, that's not Hesperia, so.
our incoming president probably has it.
Oh, now I'm the incoming president. No, great work. It is nice to see a lot of things. I live in Hesperia, so it's nice to see a like you said, that IHOP going in. My wife could not be more excited about that IHOP
Why are you
going
on
in.
rice?
She loves
know.
pancakes. Like, so the second we saw it, I saw it, and I went, oh, God. And then she looked, and she went, oh, my God, IHOP.
They have
And that's
charge accounts.
that's just right up the street from our house, so she's super stoked. As long as we're talking about great breakfast places, though, throw a word out to a place that we just found. Well, my daughter's been going there for a while, but she just took us last weekend. The Hesperia Airport Cafe. Have you been there?
I have not, but I have heard very good things.
Yeah, breakfast there, on point. It's really good. Reasonably priced, really good. Love it. So I would just say keep up the good work. It's looking nice, but also consider the traffic. As somebody who lives right there by that IHOP, I dread 15,000
Wait for the
cars coming
buses.
around that bend from Lake Arrowhead Drive and onto Main Street, and just,
Well, sir, anytime you'd like to come out and take a look at the Silverwood project, I'd be happy to facilitate a tour, and that extends to anybody on the board. As you probably know, the Silverwood project extends, once it's fully developed, all the way out to the 138. So
Wow.
there will be multiple ways to access the project at full build-out. So it won't be just relegated to Main Street and Ranchero Road. So until you've actually been out there, it's hard to really digest the size and the scale of this project. So the first time I went out, we drove around, I was like, wow, this is incredible, it's so huge. They're like, oh no, this is just phase one. We go all the way to the 138.
wow.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's very
The offer stands for anybody on the board. If you'd like to take a tour, I'd be happy to facilitate that.
Thank you.
Wonderful, appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
It's nice. The residents can see it. I can
Good.
see it. We can see it, so.
Nathan, first thing, thanks for, I told Larry that you do a better job, you're better looking, and you're a better speaker, so
Don't say
I don't
that.
expect to see him back here next year. Is there any way, can you talk about that project west of 395 that was,
Oh, spilling the beans.
I mean, it's a fact. Or do you want me to?
So I am.
So then you don't get in trouble?
Let me.
Where's the
here's what-
popcorn for
Oh,
the?
wait, no, this is huge.
I can appreciate that. I am under a non-disclosure agreement.
But Joe
I
is
can't-
not.
I can't say who the user is. I think everybody knows. I can't say it, but we just re-entitled that project to go from what was supposed to be 3 buildings, industrial buildings built by Covington, one of our better developers in Hesperia, re-entitled to one building at 2.5 million square feet. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be making an announcement. So Mr. Brady, I would hope we can wait until then. They are looking to employ over 1,000 people. And there will be easily 1,000 construction jobs associated with that development.
Dang.
And that project is going to result in what will be millions and millions of dollars in sales tax revenue, or revenue to the city, which we will then turn around and hopefully use on the things that this community wants the most: firefighters, cops, and new roads. So, I think everybody knows every city, Hesperia included, lives and dies on sales tax and that associated revenue. So if we want to pave more roads, we need more businesses to help support us in that regard. So we took that charge very seriously. And for us in Hesperia, all of our industrial uses, for the most part, are west of the freeway. They're not close to housing. So the general public in Hesperia is not impacted by the traffic associated with these developments. But it is going to be.
So AB 98 doesn't fall into. I did a video today, and I forgot to do the video on AB. So I'll say this. We all know probably who the largest retailer in the world is. So the developer called me a week and a half ago because somebody broke the story from one of the title companies, and they did it. I think they should not have done it. It's going to create 2,000 jobs. It's 2.5 million square feet, and it will be the most automated facility that they have in the country. And anything that comes through the ports will eventually go through that facility, at least be touched one time. So it's big, and we'll have to wait for the announcement. I will say this, is to talk to Brandon about the roads. We've been following this project out there for 40 years. John Ohanian's a good personal friend. I appreciate your offer to take our board out there, because I know that John would just love to do it. So
Absolutely.
John and our president have had some conversations, I think, looking at the long term. The road that goes through there, which is Silverwood Parkway is almost 8 miles long. And the idea is that you'll be able to get in there 3 ways. So the developer's also spending $160 million in fees on road improvements over the course of the project. That doesn't help right away, but it is something. So they're really, you did forget Hovanian's been announced as a fifth home builder.
Or now they have.
At
They
least
have
that's-
now. They have now. I
Yeah.
don't know that that
Well,
was
no,
public
so
yet.
no, so John's put it
We
out
are.
for the last month. They're big because they're public. So you got just 5 just absolutely
These are some of the
incredible.
biggest home
Yeah.
builders in all of California, so we feel, again, very fortunate that they are investing in our city.
That's cool.
So I think if you want to do better than the $3,000 fee you waive, give free permits and no CEQA, and I think we'll have them standing at your door tomorrow. So
Pump the brakes.
what do you think? No?
Well, CEQA reform is the biggest issue when it comes to new housing development in our state. And as a semi-environmentalist, I see the benefits of CEQA, but I also see how it's been abused to prevent new home developments, not just in our community, but throughout the state.
So to close, Jennifer, yesterday I was looking at a building we're putting on the market right across the street from Maria's, Rosa Maria's. It's 11:45. I look at the building and I'm hungry. So what do you think I do? I drive over there, drive through the drive-through, and I know that Nathan's a huge Rosa Maria person. So I drive through and I
His
sit
one
there.
claw.
The lady could not have been nicer. And I said, how's business? She says, oh, we're doing really well. And I said, one of the senior officials at the city just loves this place. She goes, who? I told her who you were.
Oh, they know
but
who
yeah,
I am.
So what I get? 2 garbage burritos. Check. And I took them on home and said, Deb, here, I went out and made you lunch today. So
What was the verdict on the burritos?
good, but I will figure out who this Mama Kuchas is tomorrow.
Kukas.
Lucas. Yeah, don't call
Kuchas?
her that.
Don't call her that.
And yeah, anybody else in the audience have a favorite restaurant? Let me know. So I remember trying to get Denny's out to Phelan 4 years ago, and they just flat said no like 10 times. They said, what part of it don't you understand? So
Ooh, rude.
When will Ranchero be all the way open?
Ooh.
a year.
Gosh, the hard-hitting questions we
Yeah,
brought you.
that's a hard one because some of the things are out of our control. So as I think this board and the community recognizes, this project was supposed to be done almost a year ago. Some things that were out of our control was the insane weather that we've had, including a hurricane that came through our community and all of the associated impacts with that, and also dealing with a state entity, Department of Water Resources. We had to go through almost 12 rounds of plan check to get the demolition of that bridge and the reconstruction of that bridge approved. We actually had to call in help from our local officials in Sacramento to help facilitate that. And I'm just speaking freely here, forgive me, but it
We
felt
love
very vindictive towards the end. And at that time, I was overseeing the engineering division. And as somebody who oversees permitting and entitlement, I've never had a project in any capacity go through 12 rounds of plan check, ever. And we had to call in the big guns to help us. And we only recently, after probably 2 years of trying desperately, and I don't think the community, most of the community, they don't care. They're just impacted. They want to see this get done. And trust me, nobody wants to deliver this project faster than we do. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be another 6 to 12 months. I mean, it's the demolition of the bridge, and we're going to have folks from Sacramento breathing down our neck the entire time, and then the reconstruction of that. And these things take time. We want to do it right. We want to set that bridge up for another 50 to 60 years worth of life. So that means you have to do it right. And doing it right sometimes means taking your time. And I understand the impacts. Our business community, especially on Ranchero, has been horribly impacted by this. I make it a point almost every week to stop into Six Beans Coffee just as an olive branch. I'm sorry, I promise I'll never go to Dutch Brothers. I'll always come here just to help some local businesses out, because honestly, our mom and pop businesses are the backbone of the city of Hesperia. And again, they create most of the jobs in our city. So it's in my best interest, all of our best interest, to support them, especially when they're being impacted like this and something that's out of their control that has unfortunately taken way longer than it should have.
Any other questions?
You said bridge now, and you reminded me, I don't think this is not in your jurisdiction, but I'm sure you talk to people. Is there any plan to get the Ranchero Green Tree bridge that you know of? And I know it's like Victorville and probably Spring Valley Lake, Apple Valley maybe. That's like the greatest bridge, except they only made it 2 lanes.
Yeah.
They built it 4 lanes wide, but so I presume it's gonna widen at some point. But I go through there twice a day, and it's just such a pinch point where it comes down to 1. Do you know? If you don't know, it's fine. But
I'm sorry, I don't
Are
know.
you talking about Green Tree?
yeah, he said bridge, and he reminded me.
I was in a meeting last weekend, and I'll just say this, that every civil engineer believes that the city could have done something, and they didn't. I'm developing down the road. I have to develop at least 40 feet from curb on both sides of the street, and I got to pay for it, or whoever we end up doing a deal with it. So that's why they did it. They want the developers to do it, and I can guarantee you there will not be anybody in this room by the time you finish that out, because you've got a couple people in there that are not going to develop it all ever.
Right.
They've absolutely said that they'll die on that property. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Sorry, I'd be happy to look into that. Next time I come back, maybe I'll have an update for you.
Yep.
Sounds ugly.
It's just the way that, you know how funds get cut and deals
Oh,
get,
yes.
yeah, funds got to get
Understand.
cut, so. Nathan, thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and
You-
hope to be back soon.
God bless you,
Appreciate it.
thanks.
Sorry,
Next thing is Board of
Yeah,
Trustees.
One more thing. Before
Sure.
I forget, I want to introduce my colleague Edie Jimenez, recently hired. She is our new Economic Development Supervisor. So the city is incredibly lucky to have her. She worked with me previously in the city of Riverside and the city of San Bernardino, and is one of the most creative people I have ever met. So we are thrilled to have her.
So what you're saying is if we ever need anything, call her because she has all the dirt on you we need.
Yes, absolutely.
There you
So-
go. I love it.
So thank you for the opportunity to invite her and introduce her.
Edie,
Thank you.
nice to meet you. Welcome aboard. Next section, 4.1, Board of Trustee Goals.
That's me.
So who is up? Trustee Tarpley.
Hold on, I'm writing my name down for my notes. Okay, so
Drive safe.
goal 1 is for the board to support ASB and their goals and objectives, which we will always do. Just while I'm sitting in a chair up here, I will always do, and hope that the board will follow suit. So ASB had a goal of getting the kiln up and activated. A scheduled maintenance project will take place during winter break to replace the carpeting in the building and install cork boards for displaying student artwork. Additionally, the kiln area will undergo thorough cleaning and maintenance. Access to the kiln area will be restricted to staff and faculty only, with students not permitted for safety and maintenance reasons. Goal 2 is to support improvements in all areas affecting student success. Caring Campus will be present during the superintendent's president's report to tell us more about that. And then goal 5, support the efforts by the administration to build additional partnerships and support existing partnerships with the college and the community. So on October 25th, BBC hosted the 2024 High Desert Education Summit. It was amazing, bringing together industry leaders for insightful educational sessions. The event focused on empowering local businesses and fostering partnerships to help the High Desert region thrive. The culinary advisory meeting hosted by the Restaurant Management Program on November 7th, 2024 in the SAC was a great success. Approximately 15 people attended the event, including representatives from several notable companies such as Starbucks and Cisco. And we are grateful for their participation and the valuable insight they shared, which will help us continue to strengthen and enhance program offerings. And that is all.
Thank you. Student trustee, reports? Number 5.
Okay. For my trustee report, Dia de los Muertos was held on November 7th, and I want to say a thank you to Martha Mendez, her team, and the Unidos Club for supporting this event. It was a success. Trunk or Treat was also very well attended, with an estimate of 4,500 people in attendance. And I'm here today to tell you that we have 530 kids for Lights of Love, and we do need donations. If any of the trustees or Dr. Walden would like to participate in this, because Many of these presents can be the first one given to these children. Yeah.
Yes.
Right now, or?
Yes, pull it out of your bag. We are, in 2026. My son and I always shop together for this, so we've already started and have a few cool presents, but we're going to get some more. And we'll get some names from,
Yes, names will be out tomorrow.
yes. Not names, numbers, light bulbs with numbers, sorry.
Yes, and they will be out tomorrow.
I'm happy to say that my wife started shopping months ago, and as she shops, she's been dropping off. I think she is, right?
We
They're
can
not-
do that?
They're not at my house, so I presume she's already been dropping off to Robert.
Cool.
She's been shopping for a while now.
That's good, though.
She just swings by and drops off a load to Robert every now and again. So,
That's
but she'll
awesome.
keep going. I know she'll pick up the pace as we get closer, and then Robert always knows that when he finds himself in a pinch, that we'll make cash donations so that he can fill holes, and we're good to do that again this year, Robert. So have no fear.
And I'll conclude my
We ought to step up for
report.
Robert.
Wait, you got to pause for the other ones. The other ones haven't really committed yet.
Oh, yeah. So we have Trustee Tarpley and Trustee Wood that have committed.
We've been committing through the year, and we always take care of it.
I think some of us are always committed.
Definitely committed.
There you go. Only one
We-
to go.
We've contributed 24 grand this year to the college, so we're proud of it. So
Yeah.
I don't need to be publicly, asked for any more money.
Daddy Dan is
I always give Robert
Joanna, you
money.
give him a Christmas
Yeah.
list? Yeah, your wish list.
I give
See,
Robert-
Kirsten never asked. That's why she gets the money.
I give Robert cash and he goes shopping.
Should he just wait and get 100?
Robert, we'll do something. So did it all get,
My turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you done? Okay.
yeah.
Let's see. So, October 10th, I went to see Lisa Strada in the Black Box Theater, which I'd never been to before, and that was really fun. October 12th, the Paramedic Academy number 49 graduation I attended. I was also able to attend the High Desert Education Summit on October 25th. Met some universities that were here, as well as local businesses, and saw a lot of familiar faces. It was a good time. I attended on that same day an ASB meeting, and got to see what the ASB is working on, and it's always good stuff, that's for sure. And then on the 26th, we did the trunk or treat. We did the Trustees of Terror booth, and it was a huge turnout, so much fun. We had a great time. And then on the 8th of November, I attended the veteran event at the Veteran Resource Center here on campus, and again, saw some really familiar faces and met a lot of new people, veterans there. My husband and I are both veterans, so it was a really great experience for us. That's it.
Oh, I'm up. Okay, thank you. Thanks, passing the baton. Ran into Laura at the High Desert Education Summit. Fully intended on going to the trunk or treat, but my son broke his hand in his baseball game that morning, so we were at the urgent care. So we
How
missed
is
that one, sorry.
How is
He's in a cast and devastated. But he's getting it off next Friday, hopefully.
Right hand?
Yeah. So I'm writing all his homework. Yeah, 8th grade. It's fun.
Wow,
Super
that's
fun.
painful. Tell him I feel.
You feel bad for me for
I
having to
feel
write the
bad for both of
homework. Just kidding. No.
Where's
he's-
Mike in this
poor
whole
guy.
thing?
Working.
Okay.
So that I was sad to miss it, but glad you showed up for it. Thank you. And just love this place so much. Thank you for having me.
So we also co-hosted the trustees trick or treat or trunk or treat booth. That was a great event. To Mr. Calendar, he's not here tonight. Is Gabby here? I saw her car in the parking lot. I thought no,
Oh, man.
no Gabby. So I mean, just a great idea and a great event, and the turnout was unbelievable. I was so shocked how many people were there. It was never ending, right?
yeah.
Like, Laura did most of the candy passing out. But it was just huge. I mean, the amount of work that I do have gone into that ahead of time. I know Robert and his people pitched in. Andrew, is Andrew here tonight? I haven't seen Andrew either. He's sick, huh? Okay. But all of the ASB folks, M&O, just the amount of work to set everything up and clean it all up, and having that big rig up there. The kids loved it. My grandson just loved the big rig. He got to get in and honk the horn, and your kid too, yeah? They loved it. The kids loved it. And I mean, it's just a win-win-win, right? So many people from the community got to come on the campus, walk around the lake, see how beautiful the campus is, how much nicer it is once you're in the middle as opposed to just driving by in Bear Valley. So great marketing. And then the outreach and advertisement with showing off the programs and what we offer here. I mean, how many people did you talk to that didn't know they can come here and get a free CDL? At least 5 people. When my grandkid was making your beautiful truck all sticky and God knows what he was doing in there, at least 5 people came up and said, what's this about? Like, I can come here and do this for free. And I forgot the guy's name. I apologize. Really nice guy. Who was there with you? I was going to say, I don't feel so bad. You forgot his name too. Just that guy was a great ambassador and a super friendly guy. And I mean, I was probably standing there for 15 minutes or so, and 5 people came up saying, how do I do this? How do I sign up? So I can only imagine how many people got interested throughout the course of the whole day. So a great advertising opportunity, great for us to show off who we are, and then giving out candy to the kids. That's a great time. And just the kind of the camaraderie and the community involvement. So I hope that we continue on and make this a tradition. Really fun, really good time, right? Did you work a booth, though, or you just walked around? Yeah, Dan's going to rope you in, you already know. He's going to want the president's booth, so.
4,500, that's a lot.
To anybody who was unavailable to participate this year, I would say next year, absolutely sign up your group, your department, your whatever. And I did see a lot of private business there as well. So outside, off-campus private business, we should get more of them involved and get more of them going. And I think we could easily do an event twice this size next year without too much more effort. So I did something else this past month too, and I can't remember what. Normally Jen reminds me, but
Was it a sports ball game?
I don't know. There was something
Sports
else, but I can't
ball.
remember. So
I don't know. Sorry. It's been a hectic life this month.
Did you take notes, maybe?
Well, I think that
I wrote the order we spoke.
Stephanie gave us a calendar of events for next year, didn't you? Or did I see something recently?
You have a calendar for the board meetings coming up for next year.
Okay. But if there's a calendar like that, Robert, something like that a year out, some of us, pick out trips a
We
year.
got it from the performing arts guys that came. Remember, they gave us everything that's coming in the performing arts center.
But if you could
in
send
the
that, I mean,
upcoming year.
it'd be nice to go, I'll tell you. I can't imagine what it's like to have
Coming in
4,500 here, but you should be in Spring Valley Lake on a Halloween night near our intersection. You couldn't get a fire truck through there.
See that bridge that he was talking
the
about?
board-
Yeah, I mean,
It
you
was
could not,
awful.
you can't, it's almost unsafe.
It is.
We put out 10 bags at $20 a piece within an hour and turned off the lights. Within an hour, we're out. It's just like, so.
I got 6 trick-or-treaters.
Before I forget, and it is important, football is doing really well. They're 4-0. They're up, I think they're practicing. They got a big game Saturday. I'm also remiss in not introducing somebody who's been here longer than I have. He reminded me the other day I spoke in one of his first classes when I came to the Victor Valley, 33 years ago. So Peter, stand real quick. Peter Allen, former president, superintendent of Victor Valley Community College. And a great Rotarian. And a famous sandbagging golfer. Yeah. Yeah.
What a life.
And you probably went and posted a
I
98.
want to be that when I
You sure? Okay.
Am I going to speak now?
No, you got to wait till wherever you're on here.
I don't see anything on the agenda.
Is it?
Not already, it's okay.
Did he write it down?
Yes.
So what's the item?
It's on your desk.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. You sure?
Can I add something in trustee comments, Joe? Happy birthday to Jennifer Tarpley.
Shoot.
Oh,
no.
belated happy
I'm
birthday.
good,
Yes.
thanks. Thank you.
It passed a couple days ago. She's only 52.
I look amazing.
So a big happy birthday to Jen.
Thank you. Okay.
And also they did
move
the same
on.
to me, so. Should we sing? Should we sing?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jen. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm not going to make singing my primary profession. Well, no, but where's? Oh no, I've got it. I'm just trying to find
Amazing, thank
where
you.
is. So I missed it, right? Well, then I will come right back to it, Peter. I'm sorry. So
And-
if you look at it,
Is it non-agenda?
And Robert, happy birthday to Robert Sewell as well.
You know what?
It was
Believe
public
next week.
Comments.
so Peter, we did that to have you check that I didn't do it right. So we as soon as we're done with this, then we're going to call you on up so you can get home and go to bed early. Okay. So just Jen talked about the restaurant lunch. I will say this publicly. I was initially disappointed in the turnout. I was incredibly happy when I left, and even more happy, Dr. Tarango, when I got a call on Saturday coming up the hill from C.J. Eversole. So C.J. Eversole ran for the Spring Valley Board of Directors. He owns a pizza factory over here or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And he was just hired by U.S. Foods. And Darnell, so there at the lunch was Darnell with Bear Valley Country Club, who's got about 30 years of experience, the Marriott Hotel, and then Cisco Foods, which is one of the three big food providers, and the two regional managers for Starbucks. So they tell us that there's 13 new Starbucks coming to town that are not already here. But what was interesting, when you have a high-level conversation like that, I thought, so I really got a lot out of it. So CJ called me Saturday afternoon and said, I really want to be a part of this conversation, and I'm now with U.S. Foods. And I said, okay, so what we need to do is get you and Cisco Foods and Shamrock back here to sponsor something, and then have them go out because they service all the restaurants, and say to them, we need you to bring 10 restaurants each back on in here and do this in like 6 months. So while I was kind of bummed, it really, you take something bad and it comes out good, he was really fired up. He's gone to VVC here. He's a hell of a golfer, very well respected, a great business owner, and so it all kind of worked out. So that was good. We also had the cosmetology lunch, which was good. I will say this: we lost two major players at this college that I got to know when I first got here. Actually, I knew John Kroenke long before I got here, and John was not only a former Rotarian, a big leader here, a big leader in the region. If you were here back in the 80s and the 90s, you knew who John Kroenke was. And every time I saw him, you were formal with him. You shook his hand, and it was Mr. Kroenke. And I remember in my first campaign, I got a check from him, and I almost didn't cash it because I wanted to keep it, but I needed the money. Then we had Robert Bob Carlson, who was a gentleman here that really supported me back when times were pretty tough. And I just spoke at his memorial. I want to close and say something. Obviously, in elections, you're going to have winners and losers. I don't see, Laura, Trustee DeVericus, that you lost, okay? I think everybody up here is incredibly proud of you. I think we all love working with you. I have a feeling we're going to see you again. And I have told you publicly and privately that I will do whatever I can to be sure that you have some involvement, whatever way possible, with this great college. You've got great energy, you're passionate, you're a veteran, and you care. And I just want to tell you on behalf of Deb, we're really proud of you, and I'm sure your other members of the board here are. I couldn't find another time to say, and if it's the wrong time to say, I'm not going to apologize. So I love you.
Well,
Great job.
Thank you so
Great
much.
We
job.
definitely won by
Great
getting
job.
to know you.
Me too.
We're gonna see you.
Last few months. Yeah.
If you come here enough, we'll get you your own chair.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoa.
You just
Never
moved
know.
my name somewhere.
So that's all I've got
good
to say,
plan.
and I really want to thank you for being a
you
part.
very much.
And I'm looking forward to working with Steve Terrell and to Dr. Giffen. So I just did a video day. I'll put it out. I'll share a copy with you and all that good stuff. So with that, Peter, do you want to come on up under 2.1? I apologize, and I'm embarrassed when you screw up in front of an ex-president superintendent, you know? So,
My name's Peter Allen. Most people know me. I was at the college for a long time. I'm now president of the Apple Valley Rotary Club. And about a couple of months ago, we received a donation of $10,000 to our club, and I just said this would be a good idea if we were to give it to the College Foundation and use it for scholarships for Rotaract members.
Yes.
At that time, we didn't have any Rotaract members, but fortunately, Elizabeth Duarte, who's an employee here, is one of our members. And I asked her if it'd be possible if she could get to the ASB and talk about getting members to join Rotaract. And we now have 10 Rotaract members.
so what is a Rotaract member?
Rotaract is a Rotary club for people between 15 and 30. There's Interact, which is for elementary school and junior school. And then there's Rotaract, which is mainly for colleges. I believe that this may be the first Rotaract club in any college in California. I'm not sure, because I haven't researched that, but I would like to research it. But it's really a feather in the cap of Apple Valley Rotary Club. And by the way, the restaurant at the airport in Apple Valley was one of the best places to eat breakfast. Unfortunately, they closed because the owners moved out of town. But I know Hesperia Airport is good too, but Apple Valley Airport was just as good.
It was really good.
Anyway, I'd like to have Elizabeth come up very quickly, just say a couple words about and show you, tell you what's going on with our club.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Elizabeth Duarte. I'm the Director of Instruction, and I have one of our VIP members here who's going to say his name as well.
Hello, my name is Jermaine Blunt. I am Computer Information System major, and I am a member of the Rotary Club.
So we were talking about community and college collaborations and engagement. Well, now we have our first Rotary Club on campus, which brings together people of ages 18 and older, to exchange ideas with leaders in the community, develop leadership, professional skills, and have fun through service. So recently, which we have 10 members now and counting, we actually took part in our barbecue for our veterans in Apple Valley. And our VIP member will tell you what our purpose is.
Okay, so the purpose of our guild, of our club, is to bring together a community of students to collaborate with the community leaders, to take action through the community service, and engagement through technology with global innovations.
So as you know, public speaking can be nerve-wracking, so he was a little nervous, and that's okay. We also have Ken Garcia, who's our president. He is a film producer major. Ricardo Rosero, he's our vice president. He's a computer science major. Christopher Valladares, he's our secretary, a film production major. Natalie Diaz, she's actually one of our first women wrestlers here on campus, and an English major. Brianna Ruwertz, she's our ICC rep, and she's a paralegal studies major. Philip Tran, he's our activities coordinator, and he's also a computer science major. And I am their club advisor. So I look forward to mentoring and coaching in leadership and community collaborations. Thank you.
Peter, if I can just echo this too. Is there anybody in here besides Peter that's been a member of Rotary anywhere? As you know, Kirsten and Dr. McKenzie, it's a great group, one of the biggest in the world. I was telling Peter recently, I got a chance when I was back in Evanston. I was a member of Victorville for years. When you go once a month, you don't feel like you're really giving. It just didn't work out, but it's a great group, and I applaud you, Peter, for bringing this. I think it's just it's just another step to make us as great as we can be. So, sorry for missing you. 6.1 ASB goals.
Hello again.
Hello.
So, as you heard, Trustee Tarpley gave the good news on the art building in Kilnyard, but I still have some important things that I want to share. The Botanical Garden Rehabilitation Goal will be going with efforts on November 22nd at 9 a.m. by Building 60, where the Botanical Gardens are. We are partnering with the Agriculture and Natural Resources Department, and they are providing ways that we can clean up the area. And so that's our way to get clubs and our ASB team and other student members involved. And then also, going back on a goal from last year, the Health Center, we are in the process for the RFP at the moment.
Nice.
So, and that will conclude that,
Thank you.
of course.
And that
All
was
right.
the 22nd,
My report.
Yes.
Friday? Yes.
Yeah, we are in the process of the RFP right now. It's being written and should be finished right away. So we're looking forward to that. The plan is to have the health center open for the fall of 25. So we're going to go back and take it back to where the facility was built for, which was in the first floor of the SAC. And the students did vote this last year to have a health fee. And is it $22 a semester, Robert? 24? 24, and then intersessions were like 17 or 16 or something. Yeah, so that's how we're going to fund this. And they voted overwhelmingly for it, so that's great. The students want it. We don't have a facilities report tonight, but we do have the foundation.
Good evening, everyone. Wait a moment for the video to come up.
It's kind of interesting looking out now. You know,
It's
through all that
distracting.
glass and you got, yeah, it's just.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. Last month, that scoreboard lit up all night. It was kind of cool.
Is that you?
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you,
It was
Tim.
very technical.
Okay, you can go to the next slide, please. So a few of you up there on the dais had referenced the Veterans Day celebration. So the foundation is a supporter of this event. We bought upwards of 40 raffle items to be awarded to the participants that came. And I just want to also extend a big shout out to Esteban. About 4 years ago when he had this celebration, there weren't very many attendees, and he has grown this and grown this. I believe there were over 100 attendees. There was hardly any place to navigate. So we did extend the offer of having it at the event center next year and then just making it bigger. So I wanted to let you know about that. There is a video. If you click on the box. Yes. Over 280. Oh, see, I was mistaken. Wonderful. See?
Wow.
Definitely outgrown it. You can see they definitely need more room, and we'll have it here at the Event Center. Next slide, please. Thank you for those who were able to attend High Desert Education Summit. We had well over 300 attendees. We had 40 vendor booths that consisted of VVC programs in addition to community booths. We had panelists, we had a guest speaker, and overall the feedback was just really immense. Restaurant management prepared both breakfast and lunch, which of course was fabulous. So really looking forward to continue to grow that event. Next slide, please. And November, we're always grateful in Thanksgiving, and she starts off our campaign for being grateful. If you could please play the video, Tim.
Hi, my name is Brooke, and I'm a cosmetology major. I am thankful for the many blessings God has given me and the opportunity to play softball here at VVC. I am thankful for donors like you helping students like me.
And then the next slide. Last slide, please.
Hi, my name is...
And please, please mark your calendars. I know we've talked about it many times. Our Golden Era Gala right here at the Event Center will be February 22nd. And you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be great. Any questions for me? Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Mary Gallagher to come to the podium to give us an update on the final budget. And this is an action item that you'll be voting on later, but she's going to do the presentation now. And then you can officialize it with your vote later.
Thank you, Dr. Walden. Good evening, board members. I had indicated to you in September when we brought the final budget to you for approval that we would have some adjustments that would need to be made. So tonight we're bringing you the final version. I'm going to go over the adjustments that were made, and they really come in three predominant categories. The first category were some budget adjustments that needed to be made, some increases in revenue and some decreases in revenue, or increases in expenses. The second area was a recalculation of the fair market value, and the third area was just some corrections that needed to be done in the book. And so I think there's a presentation. It's probably under the item that comes later. Board President Brady, I saw a curious look on your face when I talked about fair market value.
I'm thinking,
Okay.
no, I know exactly what that is. It just,
No, I know.
yeah,
Why the adjustment?
yeah.
Well, when we prepared the final budget, there was an unusual amount in the fair market value. And so we contacted the auditors, our auditors from last year, to take a closer look at it and provide us with the appropriate fair market value for us to use in the final budget, and they did. So it did make a slight difference to the ending balance.
How much was it? It doesn't, it's not precise.
Sorry, I don't have the exact amount in front of me.
Do you have, was this a slide presentation?
It is a slide presentation. It's actually in the agenda item for a vote.
Do you have it, Tim?
Pardon? 12.1.
12.1, there it is.
Okay, so this is the update to the adopted budget. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to go over just the major areas. You'll see all of the adjustments that were made, the detail on it, but there were some calculation errors. This was a formula error correction. Next slide. On this, there were several adjustments that were made after the final budget was produced for us for the September board meeting. We were still closing some of the accounts. So these are the adjustments that were made. There were increases in transfers to the cafeteria, increase in revenue for the COVID block grant. There was an increase in the physical plant instructional support library materials. And then the cafeteria fund, the revenues were lowered because of the increase in expenses. There was an increase to the student center fee that was not budgeted originally. And then there was a correction made to the financial aid grant. So those are the overarching corrections that were made. Next slide. In the unrestricted general fund, the adjustments were made to the college investments and cash equivalents in the fair market value. And we actually separated those, you'll see later on in a slide, so that you can see the detail of it. And we also increased, as I indicated, transfers to the cafeteria fund to cover the expense of the cafeteria. Next slide. This again has to do with fair market value. It's just a different showing of the accounting for the fair market value in the cafeteria fund. Next slide. Again, fair market value, COVID block grant, and the block grant for physical plant instructional support and library materials indicated in the detail of the transactions. Next slide. So this was the fair market value correction that was given to us by the auditors. Next slide. there were corrections that were made to the cafeteria, and this is the detail of it. Next slide. We did separate out the revenue and adjustment to the fair market value, so you'll see it right there, that detail. Next slide. And then this was just a correction to the indications in the column. It was indicated as 23-24 in the final budget book. It should have been 24-25. Next slide. And we had a duplicate page that was replaced. So this was duplicate page 14 with page 15. Next slide. And this was just a formatting change. We don't use decimals when we're producing these reports, and we had in the original document decimals, so we removed those in the final report. I think that's the last slide. This is the detail on the adjustment to the revenue for the student center fee. So that was a substantial difference for the auxiliary fund of the student center fee. Next slide. And this is just showing you all of the differences and the fund balance due to the errors that needed to be adjusted. Next slide. And the beginning balance had an error in it, so that was corrected. So you can see the difference in the beginning fund balance to the beginning fund balance here. Next slide. And these had to be corrected because of the corrections. Next slide. So that's, full transparency to show you all of the detail. Those three areas were some adjustments that had to be made. We had some major challenges closing the books this year. With the retirement of the deputy superintendent and the fiscal services director, it created a substantial vacuum, if you will, in closing the year. So we did bring some additional expertise on board during the summer to close the books. But that's why this happened, and you've been brought the update. I do not foresee that happening at all in the future. I'm sure that this is a very unusual situation in all of my years as a vice president of administrative services. I've not seen that happen before. We just had an unusual year. We did finally get it closed and situated, and we're on from here. Our new vice president of administrative services has very, very deep skills and experience in ensuring that you have a clean final budget this year. Any questions?
Let me ask you something. I mean, you've been doing this a long time, and I can read between the lines. There's no excuse for a $4.9 million adjustment, and I mean, so are you telling me that the budget we passed last year, we were incorrect in our assumptions that rolled over to this year?
Yes.
I mean, if
Yes.
you were my banker, so
Yes.
let's say you
Yes.
were my banker and we're having this conversation. The financials I gave you last year were wrong by 4.9 million?
Yes, let me tell you where at least half of that comes from. It was a non-general fund area. It was a restricted fund area. And it had an error that dated back 3 years. And when we discovered it, it was important to me that we have a clean, quote-unquote, budget coming in to this year. So that's why there's that substantial budget change from the budget that you saw in September to the budget that you saw in this month in November. We could have left that and made the adjustment at the end of this year, but to us, it seemed to be the best course of action since we had closing entries that had to be made after the budget, the final budget in September, that we should make that correction rather than leave it to the end of this year. The other corrections had to do with adjustments that needed to be made to downward in, for example, the cafeteria fund, as well as ensuring that we were using the appropriate fair market value. So those were the lion's share of the major changes in the final budget that you saw in September to the final budget that you saw in November.
Does it raise a red flag with the state that we don't know how to do our books?
It won't raise a red flag with the state. It does draw concern from the county, and we have had...
Bondholders also, wouldn't it?
Pardon?
Don't they have to make a disclosure somewhere to bondholders on when you're making an
Yes,
adjustment?
yes. It does have implications. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It does have implications. I think part of the process that we're going to use going forward is to make sure that we have a much more sound approach to how we are managing our books throughout the year. The tentative budget that we had last year had to have a lot of adjustments to it for this year. It's our plan going forward that we will have a tentative budget that will be extremely close to the final budget with just a few modifications that are needed as we close the books. But we had substantial changes this last year from tentative to final. And again, unusual in my experience.
You've been doing this longer than all the trustees up here combined. What liability do we have on voting for budgets that weren't correct?
Well, we only know what we know, right?
No, I
We know
understand,
what we're
but,
told.
yeah.
Well, you rely on us to make sure that we provide you with accurate information. We needed to approve a final budget in September statutorily, which we did, because we were still working on closing the books. We could have done the final budget and made all of these adjustments at the end of this next year. And that's not what we did. What we decided to do was to make it as close to what we know was the condition of the budget at the time.
So what does it do to our cash position?
Well, our cash position is very strong. This did not have such a negative effect on our ending balance that it puts us in any sort of peril. The challenge that we face is the processes that we were using to prepare the budget and to present the budget. And so Dr. Vreeman and I have spoken very extensively about this, as well Jackson Kuo, our Fiscal Services Director, and Dr. Walden has been involved in our conversations through the last 4 months.
Is this an auditor issue? Should the auditors have picked this up?
Yes.
Yes.
So are we going to continue to use the same
Don't,
auditors?
Not
I'm
after
sorry,
this year.
I'm so sorry. Don't the auditors rely on fiscal for information?
But they should have picked this up.
They should have picked it up.
That's why we have auditors.
So they should have picked it up, but we're already with them this year. We will not be using them after this year because this was a huge error on their part and unforgivable, in my opinion. I want to say, though, that when I brought in Cambridge West, which our point person was Mary Gallagher, and she brought in also, I mean, they sent a team in with her to do all this. There was a whole team of people that worked on this. It was just a big mess. And I was shocked. And I did not want to wait until the end of the year to make the corrections. That would have been the most invisible way to do it. but I was not in favor of that. I told Mary, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to just fully disclose and put it out there for what it is. And, the processes are being changed. Mary is working with Eric and Jackson and the group. You've got several things tonight. Reorganizing fiscal. Fiscal was not organized well. It did not have the right personnel in the right places, or didn't have the right positions, I should say. And so some of the people are being repositioned. We are adding to the staff there. We're developing procurement processes that have not existed before, and officer procurement, as well as many other things. Just a total overhaul of fiscal services and budgeting and how we do budgeting here at the college. And by the end of this year, which is the end of next month, Mary and her crew is going to have worked with Eric and Jackson, and they're going to be presenting to me how we're going to build the budget going into the new year. And Eric, Dr. Freeman over there, is going to be giving training to our leaders that are responsible for the various budget areas. We have over $200 million worth of money that we have to account for every year. The general fund's only like half of that. And this stuff was mostly outside the general fund, correct, Mary?
Yes.
So it was not the general fund, the general operating budget that was the issue. Was the other $90 million. So Eric will be given training, and then as we go into this coming year, every department will bring a budget, which they have not done before. They'll bring a budget, and that'll be given to Eric and his team, and they will build the tentative budget off of reality. And the tentative budget will not be a shadow and a fake, and not in cognizance with what you'll see in a final budget. So the tentative budget should give you a pretty good picture of what the final budget is going to be, not a distorted one, which is what we got this time. I mean, in reality, I'm just being honest and truthful. As Mary's, I wanted this to be transparent. I did not want to wait till the end of the year and then we just make the adjustments and nobody ever knew what happened, because that's not my style. I do not do that, and I will not ever tolerate that. So here you got it. You got the truth. It's fixed, and the best that we could fix it right now, anyway. And I think we're going to be fine. But we're going to have we're fixing. One of the things about Victor Valley College, it was operating as if it was still podunk in this area. I mean, it was like it just never changed from like wherever it started. And the whole budget thing was antiquated and on paper and pen, and even our payroll is just done a lot of paper and stuff. It's just, we have to change and be modern and grow and be accountable for what we, for our actions and for our work. And so, we're coming up to speed. So we're not going to operate like podunk. We're going to operate like a real community college, a mid-sized community college, and not like one that has 1,000 or 2,000 FTES. And that's just a whole lot of it, right, Mary? It was just unbelievable, antiquated ways of trying to do things, but the money was getting bigger and bigger, and you weren't able to keep it right. So we do know how much money we have. We are okay. The general fund is sound and has a 27% reserve. When I got here, it had an 8% reserve, so we're balanced this year. We'll be balanced next year. We're showing being balanced in up to 5 years coming, or however many years the budget project. The other thing that you're getting that you're not used to is this. And here's the updated version of it. And I encourage you to look through it. It's got all the funds there. It's all there. And so it took us a while to get here, but I wanted us to have this vote tonight because you're adopting a final budget that has accurate numbers in it. And that's and not one that had errors. So they just, the closing out the previous year was a disaster, was a huge task of trying to do that, which I did not do, but they did. And then trying to do that and then come up with a new budget was a big challenge. So I really, really appreciate the work and the expertise of Cambridge West and Mary Gallagher and George Walters, who is one of the principals, and Mary's sister Beth, who is also a CBO, retired and working for Cambridge West. And thankfully, thank God, I knew these people, and when I knew we were going to have a vacancy, I could call on them. And frankly, Mary told me, she said, Dan, if it was anybody else calling, I wouldn't even do this, wouldn't even think about it. But you're the one person I'd do it for. So thank you. I mean, we're paying them, but she's still.
I didn't volunteer.
But she did not volunteer. That is true. So thank you.
So thank you, and thank you again.
I just want to say this, Trustee Tarpley, there was a real reason I asked that question. There are three people in this room. Robert was here, Tim was here, and I was here. Nobody else on this dais was here when I came here, and this college had a $4 million structural deficit. Dr. Dan, I hate to tell you, I've thrown every one of these away. I have 4 file drawers in my office that I don't charge space for things like this. And we had a problem here for years. Things were so tough here at one time financially that Dr. Wagner was overpaying bills. Dr. Wagner went on over and was dealing with payables. So for anybody in here that wonders why I sit here and I wonder as a trustee if the numbers aren't right, nobody except for Robert and Tim and myself sat in here when we couldn't get a straight answer from fiscal. Now imagine you had trustees up here at the time that said, Joe, just turn your head. Why are you asking these questions? Well, we're not elected to look pretty up here, and we're elected to ask questions.
Yeah, you are.
Dr. Dan, I would tell you this. I'm kind of taken back that we're finding this out tonight. I would have rather had a sidebar conversation. But at the end of the day, you know, it does make, I think, anybody concerned when there's an adjustment like that. Mary, I guess that what I heard tonight, I had heard so many times. The problem was we were getting lied to as a board, and our board just sucked it up. And I was the only one. If you go back through the records, you'd see how many budgets I did not approve. And people said, Joe, why are you kind of being a jerk about this? Well, why am I going to go along to be a good guy and look like an idiot? I'd rather look like an idiot and be right. So
well, the reason
I may not vote for this budget tonight, and it has nothing to do with you. Okay?
The reason there wasn't a sidebar conversation is because that would have been illegal, to have sidebar conversations about something that the law requires to be public. So this is required to be discussed in open public like this, not dealt with. And this is not a closed session issue.
No, I didn't mean sidebar when we had our monthly
Well, what I told each of you was there would be an update on the budget tonight. I don't have the detail to be able to speak like Mary did. I just said you'll be getting an update on the final budget, and there'll be an action item to adopt it. So that's what I gave you. Gave all of you the same thing.
I mean, Kirsten can remember questions I asked on a December 6, 2016 famous letter to John Pinkerton about the foundation financials. I mean, when you lose confidence, you lose confidence. And I had confidence. I'm not saying I've lost total confidence, but I am concerned about this. So.
Well, you've got the best you've ever gotten since I've been here in 6 years tonight. So, and the team that has worked on this are the best. So.
Okay.
All right.
Can I just add while we're on that? It's not my style to go back and relive the bad old days, and I hate doing it. I hate when it has to come up. I wish we wouldn't do it ever.
So do I.
We all know where we were and where we've come. But I'll say a little bit in difference to your opinion tonight, Joe. I know that it concerns you. I know that it bothers you. I know that you disagree with it. It concerns me. It bothers me as well. But what I look at is the difference. 12 years ago, nobody in the room would have known that there was a problem. 12 years ago, nobody would have caught the problem. 12 years ago, if somebody did, they wouldn't have come forward and told anybody about the problem. 12 years ago, if the problem was discovered, everybody would have pointed the finger at everybody else and blamed everybody else. 12 years ago, not only were there financial problems, there were a lot of other problems. So I just want to say I appreciate how much everybody involved, Mary and everyone else, Dan, that there was a quick and complete acceptance and identification of the problem. The problem was quickly brought to light. There was no trying to hide it. There was no trying to finger point. There was no trying to sweep it under the rug. There was no trying to say, well, I'm got applications out at other colleges. Maybe nobody will notice this until I've moved on from here. None of those things happened. This was just discovered very recently, right? Very recently. It was just discovered very recently. I presume Dr. Walden was notified almost immediately, if not immediately. Other concerned parties were, I'm sure, I have faith, notified immediately. Everybody jumped on the issue right away, and then there was complete transparency, complete ownership, complete identification of the problem, and a solution to the problem presented at exactly the same time that the problem's being outed. So while I know this is a huge PTSD issue for this, so we'll get you in tomorrow for a session. It's brought back some horrible memories, I know.
You got a guy?
I know. I mean, I know.
I'm not having a meltdown like America did last Tuesday night.
I've known Joe like basically the whole time, and I don't blame you for being as angry and as upset as you were back then. And this place has a lot of where this place has gone was because you were such a pain in the back then.
Did you just censor yourself?
I did. That was cool, huh?
I might fall
It was like
down.
I had a button.
He's never done that in all the years I've been here.
Never.
He's F-bombed a couple times.
But a lot of why we're here is probably due to you being so difficult. Not all of it, and don't go back to just being difficult all the time. You're much more fun now. But I think it's important to identify the difference in how it was and how it was dealt with. And so I will say to everybody out there that had anything to do with finding the problem and dealing with the problem, I will say thank you. Thank you for handling it like professionals. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for immediately shifting to being solution focused and getting on board with how we're going to fix it. And thank you. I'm sure that had to suck, but thank you for standing there and saying it is what it is, and here it is, and I'm gonna tell you. I appreciate that, and that's how problems get solved, and that's how we end up not in trouble, and that's how things get right back to being good again very quickly. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I recognize that this is a whole different situation than it was 12, 14, 16 years ago, and I thank you for kicking off Joe's PTSD. But don't worry, we'll get him
A session.
We'll get him like a massage or something up here. I don't know. I'll do it. Relax. On the break or something. But thank you very much. It sucks, but it sounds like we're gonna get through it very quickly and very painlessly. So, thank you.
Well, my job is when a problem is identified, get on it, fix it, find a solution, and find a way to go forward to where things are fixed. And that's what we have done, and it's what we are doing. And I didn't waste one day. I wasn't aware of this until the final budget. I mean, when they became aware of it, they let me know. But when the final budget was being printed, we saw, they brought to my attention this issue, and they were waiting on a response from the auditing firm, but they didn't respond in time that we were statutorily required to pass the budget. So again, the problem was not with the general fund. The operational budget was, the issue was in areas of auxiliary, mostly what you saw up here, ASB funds, the cafeteria funds, those kind of funds were just not correct. And so there's still money in all of them, but they had to be fixed. Some of it was paper and moving, money was here when it should have been over here. But at the bottom line, I don't think we ended up with much less actual dollars in the bank, right, Mary? Right. So it isn't like $4.5 million is less now. It was money not in the right place mostly.
So Doc, and to my fellow trustees and Mary, yeah, I do have PS, whatever you, PS, yeah.
PTSD.
But not like the meltdown America had last week. I'll just say this. I'm really glad that Dr. Walden made it very clear that this company will never work for this college again. I guarantee you, as long, and I'm coming back for another 4 years. That's where we have a problem. We believe people, and when you lose that confidence, it makes you kind of wonder. I deal with money all day long. You know what? I can't understand all this much more than most people. I mean, most people don't know how to go through this. It's not something that we do all the time. I think all of us run our own businesses, understand our own checkbook or our own balances, and Trustee DeVericus runs her own school, and he runs a law firm. We understand our checks and balances and income, but this is a lot of stuff. So hopefully the board understands my concerns. And Mary, I will tell you this: I'm really glad you're here. And I think what you did tonight, you stood there and you answered the question, and you didn't deviate, and you didn't. It is what it is. So thank you.
Is what it is.
Let's go on to the next thing. Caring campus.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Yes. Pablo, and is Jan here?
So Jan is not here today. So it'll just
It's
be,
just Pablo?
Yeah. Yeah, she's holding it down in 55. So she's holding it down over there.
Pablo Saldana. Okay. We have a short presentation tonight because this is one of the board goals, has to do with caring campus. You've had it on your board goals, I think, the whole 6 years I've been here. So can you believe it's been 6 years after next month?
Was that Andrew that just walked out? Huh? Was it?
No.
Oh, he looked like Andrew for a second.
No. Anyway, tell us about caring campus, Pablo.
Yeah, no, I absolutely be happy to, Dr. Walden. Thank you for the opportunity for us to have representation here and for you to have adopted these goals of Caring Campus. I think this is something that's really exciting for us as an institution to take over and to really embrace as a whole and in a collective manner. So my name is Pablo Saldaña. I, alongside Jan Espinosa, are the co-chairs of the Caring Campus Official Participatory Governance Committee here, which is made up of all of the constituents that represent this institution. So we have 5 classified professionals, we have management, faculty, as well as student representatives as well through our ASB association. Actually, some of them are here, so I was wondering if I can have you all stand up and be acknowledged that you're a part of that committee. So we have Loretta Amaro, Rosario Rubio, Dean Kelly Cahow. We had Maurice as well, who's a student ASB representative that left just a few minutes ago. But we're just really so excited. I wanted to kind of share a little bit about Caring Campus, how it's manifesting here at Victor Valley College. Our whole idea is really fostering a supportive and empathetic student-centered practice for our students as well as each other. And I found the clicker, so thank you, Tim. The Caring Campus, so just some details. We meet the second and fourth Friday of the month in Building 55. So some of the ongoing goals that we've been having is we have been a part of the All College Day, which I'll go into a little bit more details later, where we offer a breakout session for all of the folks that are in attendance. Something that's in our radar are the name tags that represent our teams. Our first week greeting, which we're working with Dean Eduardo Alvarez, our branding. And then most recently, we have a Caring Campus Resource Handbook. The Care Ambassador is in development. We're also working on networking opportunities for front desk counters to be able to have a network amongst each other so we can best support students when navigating from one service area to another. And then also the Caring Campus certification. So this is through the Institute for Evidence-Based Change, which IEBC, which is a national entity that supports campuses across the country to implement Caring Campus. So they're a big informant of what we consider, and then we bring it to the team and to our committee, and we select from there what's best appropriate, and we take the liberty to tweak things around to make it best fit for our institution. So for the All College Day, we have those every main semester, so spring and fall. The Caring Campus has had a breakout session for the past two of those, so spring 2024 and fall 2024. During those, we did a qualitative data collection where we everybody that attended, which was over 60 folks that attended the first session, we provided them a sheet for them to tell us what Caring Campus meant to them or what a Caring Campus looks like here at Victor Valley College. Through that, we then collected the data and picked out some themes of what our colleagues want to see and want to push forward. Through that, we came across the behavioral commitments that Caring Campus is going to be pushing forward. So these are tangible goals that we are going to be kind of grounding our efforts in. The first of them is the 10-foot rule. As we're walking down the campus from meetings or in between buildings, if we see a student that's lost or that looks confused or maybe may need help, feeling free to take that initiative and that empowerment of, hey, my name is Pablo, I work at Victor Valley College. Do you need help? Can I support you with something? Do you need to look for a particular building, right? Taking that initiative. No, it doesn't mean, you have a measuring tape and you're like, okay, this is 10 feet, or no, that's not 10 feet. But it's just kind of that spirit. And an online theme, we could be in a Zoom meeting and then you notice somebody that's new and just shooting them a private message. Hey, welcome to the team. I'm here to support you. I'm in this building next door or where have you. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Something that's in our, so moving on to the second one is our name tags. We're having conversations with a bookstore and with Dr. Walden and the cabinet as well about different ways of our name tags, how we can best be represented and have something that's legible for each other when we're on campus as well as when we're out in the community or at conferences representing the institution. Something that's huge for this committee is cross-departmental awareness, right? Continuing that knowledge, that learner mentality of always, our campus is evolving, as we've talked about earlier today, and it's growing a lot as well. So continuing to stay up to date with our departments across the institution to be able to maintain the most up-to-date information for our students and for each other. Warm referrals, that could look like looking ahead if I'm, I don't work in financial aid, but if somebody needs to go to financial aid, not just telling them where it is, but walking them there if I'm able to, or being able to call my friends or my colleagues that work there. Hey, I have this student that is going to be headed your way. They'll be there in about 10 minutes. This is what has happened, and if you could please pick it up where I left off and support them with your expertise. And then the first week greeting, that's something we're really committed to and working towards making sure that during that first week of our main semesters for fall and spring, hopefully winter and summer soon as well, but we can provide a really welcoming experience for students that either it's their first time coming to our campus or they're a returning student. We want to make sure that they feel celebrated and appreciated to be here. This is a pledge that we have available. If these are our colleagues, some of that have, decided to move forward and say, yes, I'm committed to Caring Campus. If you or yourself are interested in committing, we would love to have you sign the pledge. Maybe reach out to Stephanie, and then Stephanie can reach out to us, and we can provide you with that pledge, and we would love to showcase you as one of our allies and folks that are going to be pushing this mission forward.
Well, we will be sending this pledge to the board and ask you to read it and to sign it if you are pledging to do all these things. So, yeah.
Yes, excellent.
Give the board that opportunity.
Yes, and so far, Jan and I and some of the colleagues in the committee and also beyond our institution have gotten a chance to network with other colleges across the state that are trying to implement Caring Campus. And I think the support of the cabinet has been really tremendous and really has set us, Jen and I have realized how ahead of the curve we are amongst other institutions just because of the support of our board members as well as the cabinet and all of our colleagues as well that stand behind this mission to just create a better place for each other and for our students so we can better serve our communities here. And that is all I have. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Pablo, how long have you been here?
What's that?
How long have you been associated with our great school?
So I've been actually it's going to be my 3-year anniversary on the 15th of this month. So, yeah, 3 years.
The reason I asked, I turned to Trustee Wood and said, I remember vividly the first place that I heard about the Caring Campus was over in Building 10 in one of the back rooms, and actually it's in Kirsten's area, when we had a workshop one night with Dr. Wagner. And it was a great workshop, and we went through all kinds of stuff in the Caring Campus. And as soon as we got done, he says to only Trustee Wood and I were there, I'm going to tell you I'm going to be retiring. So every time I hear Trustee Campus, I think about Dr. Wagner. But if you have your form, I'll sign it right now. I think it's a great idea. It's too bad you can't email it out to about 330 million Americans tonight. Yes. And maybe we could bring this country together and kind of get our act together. Because I think it really does mean a lot. No, seriously. I think we're broken. And I think hopefully we're going to be mended. So if you have a form, I'll sign mine tonight. I'm sure the balance of these great trustees will as well. And then save 2 more for next month, okay?
So the college was just recognized in a national article, which I did share with all of you a few months back.
Yes, you did.
In its work for Caring Campus. It's believed that we will be presenting at a national conference on Caring Campus in March of this coming year, the work of Victor Valley College. We also have been, we are now a finalist, one of 10 finalists for the National Bellwether Award for our Connect to Success Center, our phone center. And Todd, myself, Kristen, and Siobhan that run the center will be going to San Antonio at a different conference. It's in February, I believe. I'm looking at Todd because he's supposed to know, nod yes or no or whatever. Like Mary does over here. Mary knows when to think of it. Anyway, and we have to compete with the 9 other colleges, and then we intend to bring home first place. That's our. I know that's your kind of thing, Brandon.
Does this competition entail?
It's going to be competition, and it has to do with our presentation on how well we present, how fantastic we are.
Well, you better call Jennifer Weiss.
Dr. Dan, I'll say this. So after Dr. Wagner brought this out, it came up, I think, right after you got here, and people on this campus poo-pooed it. And I couldn't understand how you could poo-poo something so common sense.
You know what made a difference, Joe? Administration was pushing it, and they didn't work. You know what made it work? And this is
you push it from the bottom up.
This is what I'm going to be saying at the San Antonio Innovation Conference when we talk there. This is what I'm going to be saying when we go to the other San Antonio conference. And that is that when we found among our classified employees champions They pushed it, and they took the torch, and it just totally went through the campus like a wildfire, because they did it. It was not administration saying, "Oh, this is what we need to do, everybody." That's
awesome.
We found some champions, and they got faculty on board, they got managers on board, and they did it. They're the ones that pulled this off. It's amazing.
And I'll tell you, Lee Bennett, I read your email that you sent out to your, it was like, the last line you used on there is very similar to the commentator on NBC News at night. You know what I'm talking about? And he finishes off just like you did. And you talking about a caring campus. I read it 3 times today. I go, wow, what a nice, the way you wrote it, we're a team, we got to do this as a team. And I thought, wow, you would never have seen that memo out here years ago. Congrats. I mean, that's what it takes. I'll tell you this, in San Antonio, I have never had better barbecue than any place in the world, and their brisket is to die for, and you'll never find a bad place to have brisket down in San Antonio, right? It's absolutely, I don't know how they do it, but it's the best brisket you'll ever have.
Well, they're Texans. That's how they
Absolutely the best.
No, and it really does require the village, it requires everybody. And I think just how you acknowledge the work that Mary and the cabinet have been doing with the budget, with Lee Bennett, how he provides. I also read that email like 3 times, because it was just such a really important reminder that we are not alone and that we're in it together. That's what it's going to take. So,
but every one of his emails have the same. It's a tone. It's not a one time. Yep. It's a constant tone. That's leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pablo.
Thank you.
Frank Castaños.
Wow. The legend.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Castaños, Executive Director for Workforce Development. And I've got 2 tasks today. The first is I'd like to introduce, as tradition, one of our new members to the management team, Mr. Dave Nunez. Dave is our program manager for Workforce Development, and he is primarily overseeing our apprenticeship-related programs, such as our nursing apprenticeship, avionics, electronics, industrial maintenance, and so much more. Construction. He's a month in. He's doing a great job, and I want to pass the mic over to him to introduce himself too.
Thank you so much, Frank. Good evening, distinguished members of the board. Like Frank said, I'm Dave Nunez. I've been here about a little over a month. Before this, I was the campus center director for Park University at Barstow. And then before that, I retired after 21 years of active duty service in the United States Marine Corps. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I'll pass it back to Frank.
Thank you, Dave. So that was the task 1 for tonight. And then task 2, as requested by Mr. Brady, was to provide the board with an update of our partnership and ongoing efforts with Spring Valley Lake Association. So we've been connected with Spring Valley Lake more intentionally the last couple months. We originally were engaging in a partnership with them through LAPE funding that would pay students it would reimburse them to hire students as interns. And unfortunately, the state funding for that pulled away all the way across the state. So we did damage control with students to ensure that we're still there for them, that we're part of that program for different services, but also with our employers such as Spring Valley Lake to ensure that despite that funding going away, we still want to be here, we still want to partner, what more can we do? And so through that, we've developed 2 primary contacts, Kayla Thomas and Alfred Logan over there at Spring Valley Lake, and we've engaged in different planning meetings and events so far. We've had a couple different planning meetings early on just to kind of see where our goals align in terms of what they're doing as an association and what we're doing here as a college. And what I found as a resident of Spring Valley Lake, I would regularly get different emails of different events and cool classes and things that they're doing. And as we're looking to grow our own community ed here at VVC, I'm thinking, wow, we should be doing that. We should be doing that. And so we've connected with them, and we've learned what they want to do. They've heard from us what we'd like to do, and we're kind of seeing where we can meet in the middle to partner with them to make great things happen. And so, as you likely all know, being here at VVC, we actually are on property of Spring Valley Lake, and as a result of that, we are granted access rights to different amenities throughout the association, up to the count of, I believe, 64 passes. So in other words, we could do things at Spring Valley Lake up to we could exceed 64, but that's sort of like the baseline in terms of what our membership gives us access to. So we shared with them what we have available here at VVC in terms of our facilities and our spaces and things like that, which is amazing. And then also learn from them, you know, what they have available that we could take advantage of. So, of course, they have a beach area. So there's a smaller beach area for swimming as well as the larger area. There's, you know, good space for grass to do different activities out there. They've got some beach volleyball nets. We could host different activities, events, and things like that over at their location. Obviously, they have a good-sized lake. They have different fishing holes or fishing areas throughout the community. They've got a great park and some projects in the works in terms of new services and things like that that could be potentially accessed by VVC and our collaborations, as well as a community center. So that's sort of their inventory of facility usages and things like that. One other way that they've helped us was through a grant we are working with the Chancellor's Office on. We were tasked with bringing in community partners to meet with a committee from the Chancellor's Office that was appointed and some of our leadership here at VVC. And one of the breakouts was to target community partners. So Spring Valley Lake was one of the community partners that represented to speak to the committee about, you know, what they saw need for VVC and what we could bring, as well as what they had to align with us as well. And so we, a lot of brainstorming going on what we can do. There's obviously potential, like with different fishing type classes, boat tours, wakeboarding, I like wakeboarding, skiing, fitness classes, dance classes, crafts, events. Sky's the limit. There's really a lot of, the water's the limit. I don't know, that's a bad expression. You know what I'm saying. But there's a lot of good potential of different things that we can do. So we're putting some things in action in terms of making things happen. So starting in January and February, we have a series of different classes that we're looking to unveil. The first is more so related to painting. So there's different types of textures and canvases and things that you can paint. They're also theme-based. And then we're also looking to kick off floral design classes as well. So we're still working with them on some of the specifics. There hasn't been an agreement that's been brought to board yet. So there's still some behind-the-scene work looking to happen. But we're looking to kick off January and February with this partnership and co-branding and co-marketing and things like that. So yeah, very excited about this partnership with Spring Valley Lake. I don't know if Mr. Brady or the board has any follow-up questions on this.
Maybe.
I don't have any questions, and I mean this to sound as respectful as possible, but there are other areas represented other than Spring Valley Lake in this community, and so I would challenge us to also partner with those communities. That is all I wish to say about that.
Absolutely.
No, I don't disagree. What are those communities that you like to do? The reason that
Well, we all represent different
yeah,
communities.
no, the reason that I kept harboring on this is we're spending $30-some-odd thousand a year. So we have either 19 or 21 lots out here that we pay an assessment for, and there was even a conversation before you became a trustee of pulling out because there was some rifts. So I think what he's doing is trying to amend. But other communities out here, I'm all about trying to. We've got 2,000 square miles. So,
and if I can, I agree with you completely. If I can add, I think the fact that we're on Spring Valley property means that, you know, prior to whatever we set up, the only people that can access any of that stuff are the people that live there. But being that VVC is part of it, then we can bring people that don't live in those areas access to some of those activities as well. So
and I agree with that 100%. I would just like to see some of the underrepresented areas, such as Adelanto, places like that, represented a little bit more as well. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely. And not in a disrespectful, awful way at all.
No, I just, but maybe for next month's conversation, be kind of specific, you know, about what you think we can do on out there, because they're all within our area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll talk later on tonight about how we have these cities and whatever coming here. I mean, the whole idea is trying to just leverage who we are with these, because we are kind of the big powerhouse. I mean, and it makes it nice with this nice building to bring one in here and understand that, I think so. Yeah.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. No
Thank
offense
you.
at all.
No, it's all
Okay,
good. Yeah,
thank
absolutely. All right, thank you.
I know, what is wrong with me lately?
So-
Jeez.
Joe says meet with Spring Valley Lake. You tell him about it. Jen says, why you meeting with Spring Valley Lake?
That's not what I
So-
said.
So anyway, moving on, there is some good news that we thought was dead. We have now come back to life because the the state of California has found itself somewhere what is it, Mary, between 250 and $300 million in, say the state, the
Right.
California community colleges for student housing.
Wow, good.
And we
This is gonna
have
make my
been
stomach hurt.
contacted. Well, I'm asking Mary, the reason I'm hollering at Mary, because they contacted her and me, and I was like, well, should we wait to see if this is real?
Right.
Before I say anything? And she's like, oh, no. Next board meeting, you need to get up and say something. So here I am, doing what Mary told me.
You promise? Pinky promise me right now.
If she can fix the budget, she can help me do this. So, but anyway, they said, well, you're third. You were ranked third. There's now some money. So go get a new estimate on, an updated estimate on what your building's going to cost. So I signed a thing with a contract with a lobbyist to lobby this for us in Sacramento. He's made progress. He got back with us and said, yep, you need to go forward, get your estimate, get it. So we've got Servitas is updating the numbers as we speak. I expect they'll get back within the week. And so wait for more news, but this might actually happen. I'd love to get this done during my time here, and I know that the rest of you feel the same way.
I can absolutely tell you it's the last project I want to complete here.
Well, it might be, but
No, I'm going to stay here until it gets done, so the quicker we can get it done, the quicker I'm out.
So anyway, 4-story apartment building, and they're even saying now, with the money that's available, we perhaps could offer all of it as low-cost housing.
Okay, I just want you to have a modicum of caution here.
Right.
They're always selling us snake water, guys, like always.
Second April
No.
Fool's thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mary.
Can I tell you where the magic money came from?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please.
So Dr. Walden just said that Victor Valley was third in line,
Right.
right? The two colleges that were in line as 1 and 2 have both pulled out.
That is stupid.
Why did they pull out? What was it cost? The cost to construct?
No, it's far more complicated
them
than
was
that. I
totally
think
political.
there was a change of leadership at one of the colleges, which kind of put them in a position of having to really think differently about it, I think. And then the other college, well, actually, there was a change of leadership at that district as well. So
Do you
I
mind
think
us asking what
Well,
college?
one of them was 3 times. They were going to pay 3 times per bed what we would be paying. 3 times
I just
for each bed.
don't understand the state's picking priorities. Like, how did they pick those people over us then? I know you can't answer that. It's just frustrating. It's so frustrating.
So they scored higher on the
Well, I was
score.
gonna
They
say,
don't
it's-
score higher.
yeah.
They're lame.
So anyway,
Sorry.
That's-
just wanted to let you know that it's legitimate. I
they
mean,
had about 80 million sitting there that was unallocated, and then they got this other money back, so, or basically relieved. So anyway,
So Servitas is just picking up where they left off with us, or
That's-
what are we thinking?
that's where we are at this point, yes.
Are they going to credit what we've already paid?
That's a great question,
Yes,
sir.
that all gets credit, not accredited, credited.
So Mary,
I'm all
can you
about
tell us who those
accreditation.
2 colleges were? Do you know?
well, I think it's probably
Public. It's
Public,
publicly posted.
because
yes.
they pulled out. One was College of the Canyons, and the other one was San Diego Community College District.
Wow. Interesting. No, I'll tell you, people talk to me now all the time because they see this building or they've heard about it and they want to drive by it. And when they do, I've been very clear about the housing. And, everybody I've talked to about it said, what a great idea, because it would make a great experience for a college student.
Well, it's not even about the experience. It's about getting these housing challenged students a little bit more stable. That's what we need.
But being able to offer it all as low-cost housing, that's what makes it accessible for our students. So
100%, yes.
I couldn't believe when I heard that might be a possibility.
I
That
will
was
be
awesome.
cautiously optimistic.
So that's why I almost didn't say anything.
I know.
But,
Don't get my hopes up.
well, that was the reason I almost didn't say anything. But anyway, my last thing is, after 6 years here, I got a call from the city of Hesperia that they wanted to honor me at their last meeting. I was out of town, couldn't do it, but Mackenzie, I received an award for her this last year that she didn't show up, and so I went up and got her award.
Trading places, huh?
But this says, thank you for helping to build our community, 2024 from the city of Hesperia.
Yay.
So
that's nice.
That's awesome.
That is nice. That's cool.
One of our aspirations, our aspiration statements in our educational master plan is we are the best at what we do and we are recognized for it. And that's why I'm excited about this Bellwether Award and all the other awards that are coming down the pike for Victor Valley, including the Aspen at some point.
That's lovely. Congrats.
That's it. That's all I have.
Section 7AS, academic senate.
You want to take a break?
Want to take a 5-minute break? Okay. It's 8:12. Let's come back at 8:20. Sorry, Lee. You just got a chance to stretch your legs,
There you go, Dr. Walden.
Isn't that nice?
It's really nice. It's beautiful.
Okay, I'll be right back. Please do. My feather boa.
What do you see?
Really good at that.
I told them. From 20 years of the LACC. That would not
I wouldn't have, like, have no history for 2 weeks to
Oh,
the job.
I know, that's what
I don't know.
I'll go to the,
I'll take this.
because that's what she said. Then he looked at it and said,
Yeah, I don't think so. Really? Like, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that was one of my questions. Dr. Walton said, just trust me. That's right. She did the right thing.
well, I mean, it was trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I expect so I didn't expect
But I just emailed him that email. I read her. Until this day, it's like,
the presentation. You didn't think about it a month ago. That's why I don't want to be a vice president.
This? I was like, my mom's like, you look too. She didn't like it. My mom didn't like it. So she's like, you're wearing this. This is too casual, and then under is like too business. Mom, it's business. Casual. Especially in here.
I was going to say that. And I told her, you gotta what I'm gonna do is I just all online. Nancy and Jackie.
You have a dean's meeting tomorrow in 55?
So you're gonna get pushed back on that.
Okay, just want to make sure, yeah, we're going to that for sure. Perfect. Well.
Oh, this is tolerable. Is this okay? You want it back further?
A little bit, maybe. Me personally.
So we can put it back maybe where the front of the table is with this? I don't think we can go any further back to that.
No, I know, but when you sit and you push your chair and you're still kind of at a weird angle, it's making me nauseous, so I'm just
Get
looking
those
at
chairs and lean back. Like
No, Dan.
It's 8:21. We got Mr. Lee Bennett.
Hello, hello. We getting started?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I want to thank Dr. Walden and the Cabinet for providing the opportunity for the Academic Senate leadership to attend Academic Senate plenary this fall. We were just there this last week, Wednesday to Saturday. And for those of you who don't know, Academic Senate plenary is where the Academic Senate leadership and others from the 116 community colleges in California convene for a 3-day conference and talk about the issues of the day and how the Chancellor's office is implementing assembly bills and things that are on the horizon, and then get an opportunity to attend a variety of plenaries or breakout sessions on issues that are common to all community colleges. And things like the new emergence of AI, how other community colleges are addressing it, and we all share ideas and leverage the best ideas of what we've all done. And teachers are very sharing with curriculum, they're very sharing with everything. And so these things, we all get together and we talk about these things and figure out how we get to stand on each other's shoulders and kind of not just work in our little silos of each community college. It's a great opportunity. For most of us, we come here to work at VBC and it's our little slice of heaven. But we never really get a chance to get out to see and talk to others from across this incredibly diverse state. I mean, all the way up to Northern California, Southern California. We're like our own country in California. But there are a lot of commonalities, and not that misery loves company, but it does a little bit. It's interesting that, we think some of the challenges that we experience here at VBC are ours alone. And when you go to plenary, you realize that others around the state are faced with the exact same challenges, and oftentimes they're struggling to figure out how to address those as well. And it's a great environment. You make a lot of good contacts and get to bring back a lot of really good information where we can boost some of our initiatives and during implementation to solve some of the complex problems that we face. And like I said, we think we face alone, but in fact we don't. It overlaps, unfortunately, with our November Senate meeting, but being a new Senate leadership cadre, we felt that it was important for us to go there and experience that. So Vice President Dr. Montgomery and our Senate liaison, Dr. Salke, and myself, we all went, and it was a very good, very beneficial time. So we thank you all for allowing us the opportunity to go up there. So, thank you.
Where was it?
Visalia. So that's unusual. Normally it'll be like San Francisco, Sacramento area, or Irvine typically. But actually, I was saying some things about like, hey, I'm going between Bakersfield and Fresno, or what they called Baja Fresno.
That's exactly what they call it.
But it was actually very nice. It was Visalia was a very nice town. I was very pleasantly surprised. I've been up and down the 99 a million times over the years, and they were great hosts. Actually, from a monetary standpoint, the convention center there, I think, was probably a lot cheaper than Irvine or San Francisco, so it's probably not a bad place to have it. But I think that's the first time in a long time, or if ever, that it's been in the center of the state, and it was real good.
So you got a nice convention center there, huh?
Very nice. Very, very nice.
So Lee, I want you to know your style and dress, how you dress.
On point.
It's perfect. I love it.
I was like, we didn't call each other, I promise. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You look really nice.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, hold on there. AFT part-time?
Not here.
Nope. ASB?
Hello.
You again?
Yes, we're always here. All right, so to start, ASB this next week will be attending an advocacy conference put on by the Student Senate of California Community Colleges in Sacramento, where they will learn how to positively influence campus leaders, trustee boards, city councils, and legislators, while also gaining the skills that they need of negotiating, communication, and relationship building as a student leader. And then to end, I want to say happy birthday wishes to Trustee Tarpley and also to my advisor, Robert Sewell.
Robert
And
Sewell,
Tim.
your birthday? Oh.
Tim Isbell.
And Tim.
And
I
Tim?
missed you earlier, but it is.
Huh? Do we miss your birthday, Tim?
Yep.
I never miss your birthday. It's on my calendar, I'm sure.
I didn't miss his birthday. I gave him a card.
CSEA?
Not here.
Nope. CTA?
Here.
Floor is all yours, David.
I just came to watch the budget report.
Okay.
Report.
Well, we're 4.9 down the next time you're negotiating. Mary, we brought Mary in just to kind of tee up the negotiation for you. Only kidding. I got to say, I'm only kidding, so nobody takes it seriously.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah. Your next job should be a comedian. Stand up. Management. Anybody from management here? Oh, we got somebody.
Alfalfa.
Uh-oh.
Good evening, buenas noches, board members, board president, and Dr. Walden, and to our community that's here, buenas noches. Thank you for holding up. I have my timer going, so today's report, I wanted to share out a little bit about student services and highlight some of the achievements that we've done this past year. And so I will start off with, I think student services, you know, we're really thinking about how do we support students, not just academically, but holistically, and that includes their personal lives, right? And so I'll share with you that there's 4 main areas that I would like to highlight in student services, breaking down silos. Number 2, retention workshops for academic probation. I know that with the support of the engagement centers, we've been able to do some incredible work. Enhancing our student tracking with our Q list system, and I'll explain that a little bit further, and also our CM Advise. Our CM Advise is our system where we document our educational plans and the service that we provide students. And finally, this is not something new, but something that I really want to call out that our counseling team does. We do comprehensive educational planning, and that's a little different at BBC in a positive regard. So our counseling team, our counselors, do comprehensive educational planning, and that means that every single student gets a start-to-finish roadmap. Some institutions, I've had the privilege of working at other institutions, some institutions really develop a 2-term, and that meets the requirement for the Chancellor's Office to report that, but not BBC. And that really speaks to the dedication that the counselors have to ensure that a student receives a true roadmap. We're thinking about guided pathways, right? But no, it's a little bit further here. And so I also want to highlight where we're going, our future initiatives, the behavioral intervention team that we're developing, our student retention tool that it's within our SAS self-services, and data mining. So I'll go back. I see that I have a quick minute. Breaking down silos. We're having our same meetings, but now we're bringing on additional areas. CDC, Child Development Center. They sit at the table for our directors' meetings for student services. Retention, the academic workshops. We work with the engagement centers. They're not within our student services, but we are collaborating with them to provide academic workshops to address student concerns early on. QLIS is our tracking system where students check into the one-stop. While if we look at the data, we know what % of students were served that checked in. It keeps our team with the mind of how can we improve that service. And I spoke a little bit about the comprehensive ed plans. That's big here. It's massive, right? And so to the counseling team, I really appreciate that. This last 3 months alone, we served over 3,000 students, and we're talking about we could do more, but they're doing an amazing job. And finally, I'll end with data mining. We always think about units and what students complete, but in student services, now we're thinking about what touches are students getting that might contribute to their success, that it's beyond the units. And with that, I'll close and thank you.
Thanks. Give me a second here. Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and have been approved by the President and Superintendent under Board Policy 2430. There will be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on them unless a board member requests a specific item be removed from the consent agenda for discussion and a separate vote. Public comment on consent items from anyone completing a card will be heard prior to the board's vote on the consent agenda. Public comment announcement related to consent agenda items. The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted before the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on any consent agenda items. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual and a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called to the podium to speak at the appropriate time to address the board. Only those who have been recognized by board president will be permitted to speak under Board Policy 2350. Do we have anybody that has signed up for consent? No. I need a motion to approve with, we have one adjustment, and that was 8.38. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Was it 3.8? Yeah, 8.38.
Was there a cleanup of that?
Yeah, it's 18,000.
Okay. All right.
18,000, and it comes from the fund of the.
Okay, great. So we have a motion by Trustee Tarpley. Do I have a second? We have a second by Trustee DeVericus. Student trustee?
Yes.
I looked at Trustee Tarpley and I thought, boy, I better get on the ball. Better get up. Wow, this is quicker. That's quick.
Don't jinx it.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to get home by 11.
Well, the next month's when you need to bring your long winter's nap.
What's that?
Well, you've got to do all the swearing in next month, and you've got 3 public speakers, and you have the college audit and the foundation audit.
We could just roll some beds in here and just take a little nap. And
so next month, you all plan on staying a while.
well, and I'm going to explain how that's all happened because I know some people are not happy about
So
it.
the audits, are there,
We'll just put a 10 in front of
you follow the audits after tonight.
Well, yeah. Mary, you going to be here next month? No?
No, she's-
You're not going to bring the same auditors with you, are you? Huh? So I'm going to say something to them. Like, are you the same auditors that screwed up $4.9 million? I'm only kidding. Yeah. Action agenda. The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted at the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. Individuals who want to comment on action items may do so after being recognized by the board president before board discussion of a particular item during the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual and a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called upon at the appropriate time to speak. Only those that have been recognized by the board president will be permitted to speak under Board Policy 2350. Do we have any public comments? Nope. Item 10.1, we didn't have any pulled. 10.2, Board Resolution 24-18, Native American Heritage Month. Do we have a motion? We have a second? Do we have a second? We have a motion by Trustee Tarpley, a second by Trustee DeVericus. Do you want to read that publicly?
Do you want to read that?
Me? Yeah, because this whole thing. Okay.
Do you want to?
You have a copy of it
Yeah, I have a paper.
in your packet.
It's okay, I gave it. Oh, I don't have the, okay. So where do I start?
So it probably says on a motion by
Yeah,
Trustee Tarpley. And
okay. Okay.
Second by you.
Got it. On motion of member trustee Tarpley, seconded by member Laura DeVerkis, the following resolution is hereby adopted. Whereas the first American Indian Day was celebrated in May of 1916, and more than 7 decades later, President George H.W. Bush in 1990 signed a joint congressional resolution designating the month of November National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas in October of 2013, President Barack Obama issued a proclamation declaring November as National Native American Heritage Month. And whereas Native Americans have played a critical role in the health and vitality of our great nation and continue to contribute to our community, state, nation, and world, including advances in education, medicine, art, culture, public service, economics, military, human rights, and politics. And whereas National Native American Heritage Month is a time to honor their vibrant and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories, and to acknowledge the important contributions of Native American people. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Victor Valley Community College District Board of Trustees recognizes, supports, and honors November as National Native American Heritage Month and the achievements of VVC's Native American students, faculty, staff, and alumni, and respectfully encourages all citizens to explore the rich and significant heritage of these members of our community, passed and adopted by the governing board this November, is that right? 12th, 2024.
Bingo.
The date's not right.
Good job. Okay. Student trustee?
Yes.
So let Stephanie know and they'll fix it.
Thank you, trustee DeVerkis.
Did I get one of those? I didn't have.
Ten point three, the 2025 Board of Trustees regular meeting calendar. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, a second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
Nothing under superintendent president action agenda. Under 12, administrative services action agenda, 12.1, updates to the 2024-2025 final budget. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Wood, second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Twelve point two, payroll revolving cash fund increase. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, second by
Other way
trustee.
around.
I got a motion by trustee DeVerkis and a second by trustee Tarpley. Dr. Walden, would you like to just update us on this? It's 12.2, the payroll revolving cash fund increase.
It's just updating it from, increasing it from 70,000 to 30,000. There's a thing called inflation. So I actually thought we had moved this to 200,000 2 or 3 years ago, but I was surprised to see this. It probably should be 200,000, but anyway, the motion is to increase it from 70 to 100. And as I understand it, this is when things happen out of the norm. We can cover somebody's payroll if they don't get a check, right? Isn't that kind of what it's used for?
Not the fuel for the jet, right?
They missed it. We didn't pay them by accident or something?
Yes, I mean, essentially that is what it is. It's to increase the opportunity for us if there is any issue with payroll, that there is a revolving fund so that the employee can receive some funds until that payroll is processed correctly, or not that a mistake is made necessarily, but sometimes there are other things that happen during the payroll run. And so we had a fund of, Jackson will give you details because Mary doesn't have details, but Jackson does. Go ahead.
Our revolving fund is currently at $70,000, and at any given time, we have 20 to 30 of these checks out there that we're waiting for reimbursement from, waiting for the payroll process. So 70,000 isn't quite enough. We're finding that we're reaching that limit, so we're going to need a little more. So we're asking for $30,000 more.
Okay, thanks. Student trustee?
Yes.
.3 agreement with Waxy Sanitary Supply. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
.4 agreement with Cart Mart. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Oh, you take it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee, a motion by trustee DeVerekas.
We're just messing with you now.
Second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
My brain can't move as quick as you guys can. .5 purchase agreement, Daktronics for electronic message board.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee DeVerekas.
So,
Dr. Walden.
We're replacing the sign here at, where am I getting my bearings?
Fish hatchery.
The
Just
one at
right
Fish
here.
Hatchery in Bear Valley. So that sign that doesn't work, we're replacing that. And the other sign that says stadium and event center is going to be moved over beside it because it blocks the view of coming
Yes, it does.
when you're going eastbound on Bear Valley. So
And it'll be bigger. The VVC one will be bigger,
it's
more prominent.
going to be the same size because if you change the size, you got to go to DSA.
It's going to look brighter.
But it's going to be brighter, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to have it's the same quality as this one out here.
Oh, nice.
And we're also going to do the same thing with the one that's the piece of trash one that's out there on Bear Valley in front that just you can't see during the day and barely can see at night. And so all three are going to be the same company, same quality as that. But I don't have that one in the agenda tonight, just the one down here.
Student trustee?
Yes.
.6 agreement amendment with Ad Astra Information Systems. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So you said earlier it would be nice for you to have a calendar of all the year.
Yep.
So this is a facility usage software that we currently use to schedule classes. We're expanding this to do the scheduling of all facilities. For example, it would be on there that this room, Salon B, at the event center is being used the second Tuesday of every month. 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Anyway, the eventuality of all that is that there's a master calendar that you can go click on. Todd, am I telling this right? Eventually with Ad Astra? Yeah, okay, nodding is right.
nodding.
Yes, that's exactly the right
It's not a shrug
motion.
this time.
Because he's been the one in charge of this, partly in charge of it. Operationalizing it been McKinsey, I think. But anyway, I don't want to get in trouble tomorrow when they come to work. But the long short of it is, you're gonna have a master calendar, and things that are scheduled throughout the year will already be in there. You can go and plan your trips around it, because you're like, I don't wanna miss the college holiday party, or I don't wanna miss the gala, or I don't wanna miss, the trunk or treat, or whatever. That stuff could be put in the calendar way in advance when it's first thought about.
Good idea. Thanks.
Haley thinks it's just for me.
What?
That one.
What?
Said Haley thinks
Thinks
it's
this.
just for me.
Yeah. I was going to say to Todd that I'm trained at home to do that all the time. Student trustee?
Yes.
Sometimes I don't pass, Todd, very well. Oh, there was a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee DeVericus before, but we didn't go on the record, so I had to go on the record. So, yep. Okay, 12.7, Mesa Energy Systems, Inc., DBA MCore Services Mesa Energy. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee DeVericus. Student trustee?
Yes.
This is $825,000 for a new cooling tower. And cooling in reverse is heat, which is why you're freezing tonight.
Is it cold enough? Are you cold?
They're cold.
See, I create enough hot air around here, so I'm not cold.
Brandon's cold. He said he was.
You cold?
My toes are a little cold.
No.
It's chilly in the hallway.
Get tough, you're out west. 13 student trustee?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I think I already voted. Did it come through? Yeah. Okay, great, because it didn't show up there. 13.1, new management job description, salary placement for budget and purchasing manager. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Wood, second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point two, new management job description, salary placement for assistant director of fiscal services. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee DeVericus. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point three, academic equivalency, Ashley Dixon. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Who made the motion? Trustee DeVer. We have a motion by trustee DeVericus, second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point four, academic equivalency, Jennifer Nocera. Did I get that right?
Motion.
Did I get it right? Oh, thank you. Motion by trustee Tarpley. Do I have a second?
Second.
By trustee DeVericus. Student trustee?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with butchering somebody's, nothing worse than butchering somebody's name. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when people say Bradley, no, it's Brady, like Tom. Yeah. 13.5, reorganization of the fiscal services department. Do I have a motion? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Wood and a second by trustee Tarpley on something that sounds like it really needs to be done. Do I have a approval from student trustee?
Yes.
Dr. Dan, you want to say anything?
I already said.
I'm only kidding.
I already said.
Jim's saying Joe's going to go beat this deal to death. Yeah. No, we need some vinegar for that. We need vinegar, not salt. Okay.
Pour in the salt.
Oh, come on. It was quicker.
Because you said something. It's like the W word.
Yeah. Yeah, 13.6, management longevity schedule. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Well, I have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by, no, a motion by trustee DeVaricus and a motion by trustee, a second by trustee Tarpley. We're going to get it right. Student trustee?
Yes.
You do, you both sound, because you're both down there, you can't tell. I mean,
We're
I'm not-
alternating now at this point just to mess
Oh,
with
are
you.
you
Just so you know.
Well, then why don't we just have a motion for 14.1 through 14.10, do it all at one time? Okay. Wow. Did it didn't. Oh.
Oh, call
Oh, asleep at the switch.
Snitch.
Wow. Thanks for running them over. It's kind of like running on asphalt, you know? You did it once and you went back and, yeah, cool. Thank you. We owe you.
Right.
Wow. Oh, cool.
Dang, you're going like your name was Haley.
Wow. Ooh. Now we're
That's
getting
why you get
personal. Okay,
thrown
guys,
down.
okay. 14.1, continued funding application California State Preschool Program for fiscal year 2025 through 2026. Do I have a
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee DeVaricus. Student trustee?
Yes.
You know, it would be, just a little side, what would be nice in this program is if we could see the vote on the screen here versus continually having to look to the left or the right. I don't know if there's a way to do that.
Well, the way to do that is they would put another monitor right here. You'd have two monitors.
Okay, forget it. 14.2, independent contractor agreement, municipal emergency services turnout gear. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee DeVaricus and a big second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes. It's the little things.
Good for the arthritis in your neck.
Oh, I know, just your neck, it's like you're going like this. Inland, 14.3, Inland Empire Desert Region Participation Agreement 2023/227-22-N-2, Strong Workforce Program. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from trustee DeVaricus and a second by trustee Tarpley. It was actually like tied to the runner.
I know.
But, so that's how we do it in baseball. Student trustee?
Yes.
So let me tell you what all we get for 1.2 million. This is income. We get to buy 6 vehicles for our automotive program.
Cool.
We get to buy a 18-wheeler truck, all electric. We get to buy an airplane.
Oh, I knew we were going to get a jet.
Not a jet. It's a prop.
Mary, do you know about our jet?
Oh, gosh.
Did you revalue that?
To zero, negative.
Huh? Kirsten's got it on the books for like $2 million. It's worth about $20. Only kidding, Kirsten.
We do have a 727 jet.
The
That's
guts,
it.
like
I always
the
kid about the
shell.
jet. So, yeah. Okay. Student trustee?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Dr.
Oh,
Dow.
and also you get a food truck out of it. I forgot that.
Oh, yeah, the food truck.
Very cool.
That's a big deal now.
Right.
14.4, independent contractor agreement, municipal emergency services, SCBA gear. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee DeVerekas. Student trustee?
Yes.
Uh, 14.5, purchase agreement with Russell Barnett Ford for a 2023 Ford Super Duty DRV. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion by trustee Wood. A
Second.
By trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
With all these new vehicles, we're gonna eventually need our own car wash.
So this is your
There's
truck.
plenty.
This is your truck, the base truck. The next one is taking that $100,000 truck and making it a catering truck costs about $200,000 to make it a catering truck. 300 total.
Just throw a couple
14.6, 16.2, change order number 1, purchase agreement to Superior Catering Trucks. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee DeVerekas and a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Fourteen point seven, contract agreement with ACE VOX, statement of work. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee DeVerekas. Student trustee?
Yes.
Fourteen point eight, continued funding application for fiscal year 2025 through 2026, California Department of Social Services, CDSS/CCTR. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee DeVerekas. Student trustee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
It was part of the consent agenda?
It hasn't come up yet.
It was part of the consent agenda, so we already voted on this.
We did?
That's probably a typo.
It's popped up on the bottom here. On the motion and voting portion?
Yeah, because so my vote didn't come up, so
Yeah.
is it
Well,
just
that
an
shouldn't
error
have
on
been
the?
consent agenda. That's receiving $853,000. That's not a consent item.
Do we vote
Can we
manually?
undo the consent and do this since there's a motion and a second on the floor?
Why don't we verbal vote it, and then she can fix it later in the minutes
There you go.
Is that okay, Stephanie?
when it's not 9 o'clock at
You have your microphone's not on.
It's not working tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and put it.
Somebody should give me that one next.
Tim,
We all know, it's okay.
night. Give Jen the busted microphone.
So I'll put it in the minutes.
Okay, just take a verbal vote.
Unanimous vote?
Aye.
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 Student trustee?
Yes.
Good.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Aye.
Okay. 14.9, Stephanie, are you caught up? 14.9, purchase agreement, Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac. Wow, a 2025 Chevrolet Silverado Series 8 catering truck. Wow. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Got a motion
So
by
this is like
trustee.
a warming truck, so this is another truck, and it's like it got a box on the back, and you can put food in it, keep it warm. hot, whatever, and take it to where you want to take it, then
Dang.
Yeah, it's so cool.
we're moving uptown.
I guess.
It sounds like with all this
Fancy.
food, we're gonna need a gym.
This is all, see, this
tie wrap
$1.2 million that the rest of the region didn't spend, and I'm not gonna say anything because it's on public record, but anyway, we went after it.
Yeah, and we got it.
And did I hear Dr. Tarango knows how to find that money? Huh? You're good at it? It's like what?
For the college.
You're good at it. No, he goes, if there's anything out there, she's gonna grab it.
That's
Good.
awesome. We love it.
Don't ask, grab it, and then say thank you. Okay, so we actually have a motion by Trustee Tarpley and a second by Trustee DeVericus, for the record.
Other way
Trustee?
around?
Yes.
Oh,
Other way around.
Other way around?
Yep.
Okay,
We're just gonna keep messing with each other.
yeah, that's right.
Paddles.
I'm 2 years away from being a senior. Like senior.
You're already there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's just for funsies.
That's all right. It's when you start collecting Social Security, you go, God, am I that old? That was only for old people. Okay, 1410 curriculum changes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Tarpley, second by Trustee DeVericus. Student trustee?
Yes.
So the next items are all just discussion, 1 through 5.
We're first reads.
Their first read, result of changes in the accrediting standards, that these are just aligning with the accrediting new standards. And then 16.6 was accidentally left off, and so we added it in when we had a chance earlier. And that is a discussion on having elected officials speak at the board meeting.
Yeah, so I actually asked for that to be added, full transparency. And I really like that. I like that we have people. I like the guy that came from Hesperia, Nathan. I think it's great information. However, I think it makes the meeting go very long. So if we could limit their time, and I know we ask a lot of questions too, so guilty, I did today. And I think maybe if we could limit it to one a meeting, it would be ideal, because we have a lot on next month's agenda, and there's a lot of college business. I love learning about the community, though. I mean, you've brought some amazing people here, the mayors of different communities and things like that. I just really appreciate it. So I want you to understand that. But I just wanted to have a conversation about the use of our time. That's all.
Trustee? Laura? Hey? Trustee Wood?
I get what Jen's saying. I also get that when you throw out a net to congressmen, senators, assemblymen, mayors, and you cast the net to try to get them to come and see us here, that sometimes some of them may say, oh, the only date I can do it is this date, and so we may end up accidentally, not on purpose,
Right.
may accidentally end up with more than one on a date. But it would be good to keep it to one where possible. I mean, I'd rather have 2 or even 3 in a night than miss out on hearing from somebody and getting to host somebody. So I'd rather suck it up and have 2 or 3 in a night, as opposed to saying, hey, never mind, you're canceled because somebody
Well, I don't think
cooler
we cancel,
called,
but we
so.
could respectfully ask for them to see if there's another date.
Right, I
available,
mean, we
that's
should
all.
use
Because, I mean, they're humans.
best, you know,
Right.
So let
efforts
me
to-
answer your concerns. They're deep concerns. The first thing, us scheduling this is costing my staff bonus money. And so they've come to me and said, Joe, we're spending a lot of time working on college business, and it takes away from our incomes. So we had a conversation the other day, and I said, you know, if we don't do this, we don't do it. I mean, I know all these people, so it's
Right.
like I could pick up the phone and have lunch with them. The idea is that we're here to educate our students first, and then obviously the board. And I think to have that conversation. what I got out of this last year was this, that conversation with, what's weird, you had Senator Rosalia Bowe, strong Republican, you have Juan Carrillo, they both give their pitch. Something else came out. I don't know if you remember when Juan Carrillo said, Joe, your industry's mad at me. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Walden says, hey, let's talk about the 10 million bucks.
That was amazing.
So let me tell you what has happened. So we threw out that net like Trustee Wood said. And then we have these changes, and Pam's having to make changes, and then you get into the staff. Some of these people are prima donnas. And I hate to say it, if you're listening, you don't have to be invited. Because I'm spending, it costs us $300 an hour to operate. So when our staff's doing this, it's a last minute change. Then it came to, so I reached out to Trustee Wood, and I said to him 2 months ago, let me know if you want to continue this. So the train wreck came where Jay was going to be in August, okay? And we kept moving Brightline. And the reason that it was important to have Brightline is Brightline is a game changer for the region. It's bigger than Silverwood, it's bigger than BNSF, it's bigger than everything. And there's some things I probably know that I can't say, but I'd rather have them say to our board. And they, candidly, they didn't want to meet with our board because I think that they knew that they had other things that they had to tee up. Then we had our superintendent of schools. So it all kind of came together, and I thought back in October, I said to Pam, I said, man, this is just gonna be a cluster. You all know I like to go to bed early, so I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then we have the issue of, we had Sheriff Dicus came and talked to us, and I've told him all the same thing. He got like 10 to 12 minutes, okay? And then he went on, and we're asking all these questions. And then ironically, I just got the sheriff's report the other day, 150 pages, and I'm telling you, it ain't pretty. So I do agree. I didn't want to do more than one. It started as a good idea, and I think what I've got to do is just say, you either get this month or we only get one, max 2. You get like 10 minutes, and then because otherwise, the December meeting, we could bring our sleeping bags here.
Well, and I think then as board members, let's just agree to be cognizant of the time when we're asking our questions and making our stupid jokes.
So
if they're
speaking, but if they're speaking, there's nothing wrong with you saying, Speaker, would you just shut up and go on home? We got to get to the next one.
Oh, I challenge you to a good time.
Thanks for coming. Get out.
Listen, I totally understand the issue. Okay?
Yeah, and I'm not making light of what you do or what you bring to the table at all, because I appreciate it. I think it's been very educational.
I'm not going to read the memo that came back in my office that they said I could read tonight, because Pam really cares about this college. But it does impact her when, she's got a real estate deal she can get a little bonus on, and she's doing stuff here, but she's also very Christian, and she believes deeply in the college. So I've taken everybody's input. Well, and then we'll see how it goes. We'll start working on this probably in December. The problem is some of these schedules, they just don't know where they're going to be traveling. And I think especially right now with Jay coming in December, it's going to be interesting to give his perspective. And hopefully, if anything, we figured out how to get that 10 million bucks or that was
great.
But that was big for me. I'll also close and say this. When Juan Carrillo said that night that the industry, that I knew the industry was mad at him, they're lividly mad because it has a huge multi-million-dollar impact on our economy up here about how these warehouses are going to be built. And there's two sides to the story. So I'm on the pro-development side, but I also understand the concerns. So there was a bill that was passed, AB 98, that was signed by the governor, and it has everybody in the industrial development business really upset. Well, because of that relationship we have with Juan and what he said, I jumped on it. We're now meeting at Bear Valley Country Club. We wanted to do it here, but we couldn't get on in here for some unknown reason. And we're bringing about 40 people, major players of industry that came, and it really came from that little conversation. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and please know I'm not making light of it at
all.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, it's very respectful because I do appreciate all the information that we've gathered.
So
just like you, Jennifer.
And we'll have the conversation then next year. So he wants me to continue. I'll do the best we can. If there's a meeting that we don't, we get home hopefully 50 minutes early. So with that, I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Oh.
Wait, what?
What? That, what?
16.1 through 16.1.
Oh, wait a minute.
Those were all discussion
Oh.
items.
Information.
But you know what? Wait. I think that you moved.
Nope.
No, I've got to read this. But I do appreciate the fact that you moved the original paragraphs up. Part of this got moved to the beginning. I'm really wondering if this has to be here anymore because we already read it. I've already read, is the intention of Victor Valley to comply with the American Disability.
And you don't have to read it anyway.
Yeah, but it was good that it was now at the beginning of the agenda versus at the end of the session. So with that, I got a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion second?
Second.
Thank you. Oh, there we go.